coverage and not give up the quick strike.
They also have another concern. That is with number 14, Vinny Testaverde. He is the nation's best quarterback.
And there's no question about it. And of course, Vinny's always had the great arm, even when he got to Miami. Over the years, he's developed a great touch. And it's his quick strike ability that makes this offense so difficult to defend.
How about that hillbilly from Tennessee, Danny McCoy? He's a fine quarterback as well.
Well, the Miami fans may not recognize his name, but if you look amongst the nation's leaders in total yardage and what have you, Danny McCoy is right up there. Again, he's got all the tools. He can throw the long one. He can throw the short one. He's very, very patient. I don't think he'll throw the interception. Certainly, he needs a big performance for them to be competitive.
So we've got a good one. The University of Cincinnati against number 1 Miami. The kickoff is next.
This is a Barnett home equity agreement. It's like every other bank's home equity agreement, except for the title search fee, of course. Oh, and there's no appraisal fee either. Oh, and you don't have to pay an intangible tax, whatever that is. Almost forgot. There's no recording fee or origination fees or points. I guess the Barnett home equity agreement isn't like every other bank's home equity agreement, is it?
Everybody knows how to do that kick. Health kick, yeah. Whoa! The goodness of milk is a real health kick. Health kick, yeah, milk. You pour a glass of milk real tall, getting calcium and vitamins and loving it all. Looking good. Well, come on, everybody, milk that kick. Health kick, do that kick. Come on, everybody, do that kick. America's favorite health kick.
This bud's for all that you do.
Carlos, I need 100 of these by Friday.
My friend, I'm retired. My son is running the business now.
You know just where you're going. It's true, your pride is showing, cause you make America work, and this bud's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
Miami has played Cincinnati 6 times. They have won 5. The only time Miami has played at Nippert Stadium was way back in 1947. That was the game that Cincinnati won, 20-7, that final score. We are live here in Cincinnati. Steve Physiak along with Steve Grody, and a sellout crowd, something we have not seen at Nippert Stadium in a long time. One big reason is that young man. He is the leading candidate to win the Heisman Trophy this year, Vinny Testaverde.
Well, I think he's hands down to win the award. You talk to the coaches on the Miami staff, and it's kind of scary. They tell me he continues to get better.
Well, he will have the football first. As Insakala will kick off for Cincinnati, and back deep to receive is Miami. And they bring the football out to the right side at the 25-yard line. A terrific comeback. And Miami has the football in outstanding field position at the 47-yard line.
Very unusual run back, Steve. Generally, when a team kicks it to one side of the field, the receiving team will run it right up that side. This time they ran it all the way across the other side. Cincinnati lost their outside containment. And this is just an excellent run back. One lead blocker right here, and he plays them all the way.
That's J.C. Penney. So Testaverde on offense right away. And he goes to the air immediately. A deep drop. It's complete to Williams. And he is smacked down at the 42-yard line.
Steve, we talked about the opening. We thought UC would line up to stop that, the running game on first down. Miami's a 70 to 80% run team on 1st and 10. That's a great way to mix it up to start the game.
Highsmith is their best blocker. Williams had a marvelous game against UC last year. And Roberts, the big tight end, they've got an outstanding young receiver as well in Michael Irvin.
Rovin and Maddox, 2 new people on that offensive line.
This is 2nd down. Miami needs 3.5. Williams slides forward. A flag will fly, and I believe it will be a face mask.
Anytime you're in a big underdog situation, you would like to get off to some type of an inspirational start. Certainly allowing the kickoff to be returned to the 50, and a face mask penalty here is not what you would like to have happen.
Chris Aspect just kind of reached around and got the wrong part of the body.
Yeah, very, very much accidental. One of those things you just can't help. Little game going on the inside with the defensive line. Good defensive play. Just an unfortunate face mask.
So from the 30-yard line, Miami has the first down. They have the tremendous kickoff return to start the game. And Testaverde, you've heard all about him. He has 15 touchdown passes this year. And has this one complete for another. First down inside the 20-yard line, out of bounds at the 18.
Testaverde passes to Perriman.
Offensively, this is a look. Sellers is their best pass
Stop
rusher.
on the play by John Sawyer.
That front four is doesn't have a lot of playing experience, but they're a bunch of scrappers, and they'll play you tough the whole game.
Alex Gordon, the best defensive man on the team, and of course Richard Rose, probably the best man in the secondary.
Gordon will be a first-round draft choice. The strength of the team is certainly their linebacking core.
So it's another first down for the Hurricanes. And this time it is Highsmith inside the 5-yard line to the 4. So the Hurricanes just marching down the field. They scored 58 points last week against West Virginia in that victory.
Of course, West Virginia had a lot to do with that. They scored 3 touchdowns in a minute and 52 seconds, I believe. But credit the left side of that offensive line. Maddox, we mentioned, in there and seeing some playing time for the first time. Alekna, the left guard, they opened up a huge, huge hole.
Testaverde from near the 5, play action pass, and it's a touchdown. Very quickly out of the backfield, Warren Williams, and Miami is on the scoreboard immediately.
Well, this is vintage Miami Hurricane football. It took them 1 minute and 14 seconds to score a touchdown. You know, they just keep you off balance so well. Testaverde with a great ball fake into the line, and what a great touch. Miami ran 5 plays, 3 first downs, and a touchdown. That's a pretty decent percentage.
And they started in just magnificent field position from the 47 in Cincinnati territory. So they'll try for the point after touchdown. It is a 6-0 ball game, and it is now 7-0. Miami has the lead here at Nippert Stadium in Cincinnati. 7-0 our score in the first minute 15. We still have 13:46 to go in this first quarter play, and it's looking like it looked against West Virginia the way they scored so quickly last week.
Well, certainly what you have to talk about on the sidelines now is you can't let yourself get your head down immediately. Obviously, no success defensively on that possession. And once again, I think it's going to be up to Danny McCoy. An inspirational game from him is about the only thing I think that can keep this Bearcat squad from, hanging their heads.
Dave Curry was saying, we have to establish the running game. Last week we did not against Penn State, and it cost us in the very end.
Well, they ran for 7 total yards last week. Very difficult. You can hardly imagine playing Penn State competitively when you run for 7 yards. But again, that just gives you an idea of how Danny McCoy can keep you in a ball game. So, this is not a team of quitters. I mean, they're going to hang in there and they're going to play hard, but again, this is not the way you'd like to start.
There's number 8 in the background. Danny McCoy is returning that football for the University of Cincinnati. Ed Johnson, he is to the left. He is perhaps their best return artist, but they say right now he is not that fast. He is coming off a little bit of injury. And kicking off is Mark Seelig. He and Greg Cox really share those chores this year, but Seelig tonight will be handling the kickoffs and Cox some of the placements. And it will go out of bounds, a 5-yard penalty assessed to Miami, so they'll have to kick it off again from the 30. And a man down immediately, away from the football for the Hurricanes. And the University of Cincinnati trainer right on top of the situation to make sure that young man is all right. It's a 7-0 ball game. Miami has the lead. Might be able to get a look at the injury on the left side of your screen. Eric Ham, and he is one of the best special teams players on the Hurricanes.
Well, his knee just locked up on him. There was a little bit of contact, but I didn't think there was enough contact to initiate the injury. It looked like maybe he just stubbed his foot and the knee locked up on him.
Cincinnati player swept by him, kind of caught the outside of that ankle and twisted the knee around. And so Ham is down in the ball field.
It's Vernon Boyd. On the kickoff, McKinney took a little bit of a chance. It worked out. The ball went out of bounds, but that's a little chancy when you let a kickoff hit the ground.
With our score 7-0, Miami will return with more football after this.
Time out for some big news from your Mazda dealers. The 1987 Mazda RX-7s are here. RX-7, winner of the IMSA GTU Championship 7 straight years. Sleek, powerful, with a unique dynamic tracking suspension system. Right now, your Mazda dealer selection of RX-7s is the best ever, and he's really dealing. So get going. See your Mazda dealer now.
Get a great Mazda deal today in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and Pompano Beach.
You stepped up to a 35mm camera because you wanted to get serious about your photography. There, the image is on the film, but will it be on the print? It will if it's Eckerd's UltraLab 35 processing. UltraLab 35 examines each negative for color and contrast. Prints on high-gloss Kodak paper for incredible reproduction, and UltraLab prints are 30% larger. Be sure that the image you shoot is the image you get. UltraLab 35 from Eckerd, when you're serious about 35mm.
Eric Ham being helped off the football field at this time. And he has a brace on that left knee where it just locked up on him as he sprinted down the field on the kickoff, so he'll be out of the lineup. And a football team that has had so many injuries the last couple of weeks has one more.
That's awesome right there, isn't it, Steve?
47 yards on 5 plays. And Testaverde with touchdown pass number 16 on the year. He is 2 away from tying Bernie Kosar on the all-time Miami touchdown passing list. Kosar threw for 40, and Testaverde has now thrown for 38. And this is it to Warren Williams, and that was a 4-yard touchdown pass to give the Hurricane a 7-0 lead. So Seelig will try and kick off again, this time from the 30-yard line after a 5-yard penalty because he kicked it out of bounds the first time. The run up the boot. It will be Al McKinney from the 5. As the sideline bumped out of bounds near the 27. So an excellent kick by Seelig. He's kicking off from his 30-yard line and pounds it all the way to the 5. And there's Danny McCoy, 7th in passing efficiency, 10th in total offense in the nation. Taylor's the best running back, but he's been hurt.
Yeah, he's been hurt, played very little against Penn State last week. They say he's about 80-90%, but he's an excellent runner.
Joe Heiss is a fine possession receiver. It's a first down from the 26-yard line. McCoy wants to throw right away, and it's to Reggie Taylor. He can scoot near a first down out of bounds to the 34-yard line. Still will need about 2 for the first down. He is only 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighs about 170, but he has a way of just really reading the entire field as he runs.
Well, he's a strong runner. You get somebody low to the ground like that knows how to run and has some strength. That type of runner is very difficult to bring down.
Pat Lavelle in the middle. The young man has moved from the outside to the inside. 2 yards for the first down on second down. In motion is Leonard Cry, and McCoy wants to throw again. He's going deep, and it is incomplete at the 40-yard line. Heiss was turning in that time, Steve, and the pass way too tall.
Well, I don't know if they just missed connections in reading the defensive coverage, but had Heiss continued on his route to the sideline, that ball would have been catchable.
So it's a 3rd down and 2 for McCoy.
The Cincinnati passing attack, as we go through the ball game, will remind you a lot of the old Raiders passing attack. They'll dink you here, dink you there. They're going to take what they give you. Because Penn State last week only threw 2 long passes.
3rd down down and 2, and McCoy in trouble, dumps it off, incomplete. Punting situation as Miami with the great rush. You've got to credit the secondary. Boy, it looked like McCoy had plenty of time.
He did have plenty of time, and nobody was open. They flooded the right zone. Everybody was covered. Again, McCoy is very good. He's very patient. He'll stay in the pocket. He won't throw the interception. He's got very, very quick feet, and he'll sidestep the rush very, very well. I think he just threw this ball away, and he had a little bit more time. He would have seen his receiver out in the flat. He was wide open.
Dan Cilio is the man applying the pressure. He took over for Derwin Jones, who was injured 2 weeks ago. And Miami blocks the punt, picks it up, and they will run it in for the touchdown. The Hurricanes. Now, this is looking a lot like West Virginia. The Hurricanes, just an overpowering outfit, block the punt, take it in for the 6 points. And that's Bubba McDowell.
Steve, one of the things you're concerned about anytime you come into a ball game as a big favorite is whether or not your team's going to be ready to play.
McDowell blocks the punt, picks it up, and does it all himself.
Well, that's only justice to the guy who blocks it, picks it up, and runs it in. But certainly Miami is tremendously ready to play this football game.
They are number 1 in the country, and many people have been saying they have a clear path to be number 1 because they do not have a rough schedule the rest of the way. Well, the Hurricanes up by 14-0, and just 2 minutes gone in this ball game. We'll be right back after these words from our local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
Now get the lowest finance rate in Toyota history, 2.5%. 2.5 on all new 1986 Toyotas. Yes, all. Get Toyota's 2.5 on all cars. Celicas, Camrys, Corollas, Cressidas, Tercels, Supras. Get Toyota's 2.5 on all trucks, every truck, and 2.5 on all vans. Plus, get 0 cash down on a commercial lease from World Omni Leasing. Now get Toyota quality at 2.5%.
Most people rent a truck over the phone. A truck they haven't seen or driven. Now, that can be risky, unless you ask the right questions, like, how old is my truck? Does it have power steering, automatic transmission, air conditioning, a radio? You didn't get all those questions? That's okay. Just ask for the truck that's the same color as your yellow pages, Ryder, and that'll answer all your questions.
Ryder, the right move.
When you talk about Miami, you always talk about the great offense. Vinny Testaverde on for the Heisman Trophy. Miami leads 14-0. But 2 things that people don't talk much about and that they're great at, special teams and defense. Boy, can they do it.
Well, they're just they are the premier college football team in the country. Take a shot at the Miami bench. I think maybe we better brush up on some of those guys on the sidelines. The way things look right now, everybody's going to get to play.
Bubba McDowell blocking the punt, taking it back for a touchdown. We have just 2 minutes gone in the ball game, and the Hurricane lead 14-0. So that young man, Danny McCoy, has a bunch of catching up to do. Cincinnati came into this evening's football game with a record of 3-3. Miami is looking for their 7th straight win. And if they can get that, it would be the first time in their history they've won their first 7 games. Reggie Taylor up the middle. Tries to shoot by a couple, gains maybe 2-3 yards, and then is stuffed back.
Well, you're faced with a difficult situation. You're playing against the best offensive team in the country, in my opinion. And, now you wonder, do we run the ball? Do we get back to our game plan? Do we have to open it up? I don't know what the answer is. We'll see what decision the Cincinnati coaches make.
There's a look at the defensive secondary. Benny Blades, they tell me, is simply outstanding. He leads the nation in interceptions with 6. A pass incomplete. It'll be 3rd down now and 7 yards to go for Danny McCoy. He has hit 1 of 3 in the ball game. And he came into this evening's contest completing 67% of his passes.
Well, there was a mix-up in the coverage that time. 2 defenders playing man-to-man coverage on a crossing pattern. Again, Cincinnati cannot afford to make any mistakes and not catch in on any opportunities like that in an overmatched situation.
From the 29, and flags go flying. And I believe it may have been the left guard who moved just a little bit too early, Irvin Owens. Illegal procedure, offense. 3rd down now and 12 yards to go. Jimmy Jones is new into the game. He made the move into the lineup as a defensive end and pushing Bill Hawkins to a defensive tackle.
Take a look at the handoff here. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the penalty. Jimmy Jones is a great story, as some people may or may not know. He did not even play his senior year in high school. Came from a poor family. He had to quit the football team and go to work and help put food on the table. They gave him a scholarship anyway, and the guy's a great player.
Well, here's McCoy on 3rd and long. Completes the pass for the first down. That is Jason Stargell, and he is the big play man for UC.
Again, if you give McCoy time, he's going to find his receiver. Now, this is the first defensive secondary they've played all year that is a true man-man coverage. It requires the quarterback to be a little more patient and wait for that quick cut so he can get away from the defender. Big rush. They all ran by. McCoy stepped up in the pocket. Great pass, great catch.
And he barely had the edge on Don Ellis, who had to come back to make the tackle. Reggie Taylor spins for about 5. And that's why the last 2 seasons he gained 1,000 yards in 1984 and again 1,000 yards in 1985.
3 or 4 Miami defenders in on the tackle. Good blocking at the point of attack. And, of course, there was great gang tackling and pursuit by the defense.
Gain of 5, 2nd and 5. 11:39 to play in this first quarter, and it's 14-0 Hurricane. In motion to the bottom of your screen, Jason Stargell. Taylor again. This time he is hit and knocked back. Dan Cilio. That's a backup defensive tackle.
Cilio, 6'2", 288-pound junior. Let me tell you, when he puts a hit on you, you're going to feel it. There's a little trap play. They try to trap the outside, the defensive end. The play starts to develop very well. The defensive end does his job, forces the play back inside. End up being a good defensive play.
From the 41-yard line now. UC needs 4. Roosevelt Mutes has the 4 and a little more. Inside the 35 to the 33. It's a first down for Cincinnati.
Certainly, Steve, Jason Stargell was the best receiver on the ball club. But really, the strength of the Cincinnati passing offense is McCoy's ability to hit a lot of different receivers. Last week, 7 different people caught passes against Penn State, and he'll distribute the ball around.
And Mukes is a backup and already has 16 catches this year. Heiss and Stargell are the starters. Taylor, a big hole. And he skips inside the 20-yard line to the 19. Another Cincinnati first down. And perhaps making a touchdown-saving tackle was Benny Blaze.
Again, remember, Cincinnati's a very capable offensive ball club. Very few teams have been able to control them offensively. It's been their defense that has really led to their 3 losses this year.
First down, 10 yards to go, 19-yard line. Time now for that Miami defense to bolster up. Showing a blitz. Now backing off is Rod Carter. Now he's coming again. He is picked up. McCoy with an excellent job of scrambling. Complete inside the 10-yard line. Greg Lathan, the tight end.
Again, Steve, anytime you give a good quarterback this much time to throw the ball, and again, there was a good pass rush, but watch McCoy. He's very shifty back there. Great feet, strong upper body, able to get away. Shows the ability here to find the open receiver on the scramble.
Well, you were right about him looking like the Oakland Raiders. It looked like Kenny Stabler throwing right-handed. Al McKinney up the middle. Great job defensively by Dan Stubbs. You'll see his name mentioned in the NFL in future years. A 6'4", 240-pound junior from Red Bank, New Jersey, and also Winston Moss helping out on the play.
Well, this Miami front has always been a very hard-charging unit. They try to penetrate the line of scrimmage and make things happen in the backfield.
Dave Curry, in his 3rd season at at the University of Cincinnati, watching his Bearcats on a drive that started at their own 26-yard line. From the 3, 2nd and goal. McCoy, incomplete. Intended for Roosevelt Mukes, who was in motion going left-right.
Well, Mukes was never open. That was outstanding coverage out there in the defensive flat by Benny Blade.
Third and goal from the 3. A look at Danny McCoy thus far. UC down to Miami 14-0. Leonard Pye goes in motion.
Yeah, got the blitz coming.
McCoy has the time, now throws. Incomplete.
Out of the end zone. Boy, credit that Miami defensive secondary. There was absolutely nobody open on the play. 3 receivers in the pattern. They even had on the weak side, they even had the outlet man covered.
Arnez Perry was right there, but just was on the end line. Looked like he had 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
May have been somewhat of a mix-up on the route. UC had 2 people in the deep left corner. It's too difficult to tell from that angle.
The field goal is up by Ensalaka and good. And it cuts the lead to 11 by Miami. It's a 14-3 Miami lead. We'll be back after this.
Pretend my finger is your car's fuel injector. It sprays gas into your cylinder. And with your piston, it creates this explosion. But fuel injectors can clog, robbing your car's performance. That's why you need new Gulf Super, specially formulated to keep fuel injectors clean for better performance.
New Gulf Super, the gasoline for today's cars.
This is a Barnett home equity agreement. It's like every other bank's home equity agreement, except for the title search fee, of course. Oh, and there's no appraisal fee either. Oh, and you don't have to pay an intangible tax, whatever that is. Almost forgot. There's no recording fee or origination fees or points. I guess the Barnett home equity agreement isn't like every other bank's home equity agreement, is it?
A full moon over Nippert Stadium as we get ready for Halloween at the end of the month of October. The Hurricanes leading Cincinnati 14-3. We are in the first quarter of play with 8 minutes and 33 seconds left. And Cincinnati, Steve Brody, really needed to punch that ball in the end zone to really get back in this ball game. They're still well out of it with knowing Miami's offense and their defense.
Well, I was a little disappointed in the second down offensive play they ran. It was a 1-receiver pattern. It was well covered, and they really had no options set up for themselves.
In Salaka with the boot deep to Penny. From the 3. Cut down at the 14-yard line. Mike Kelly making the tackle. UC went 71 yards. They had a first and goal, though, at the 3 and could not punch it in.
Well, and most of the big plays were made by McCoy in scramble situations. Believe me, this defensive line from Miami is going to get a workout tonight because this kid will knows how to get away from the rush, and they'll get a workout trying to run him down.
Testaverde will hand off this time to Alonzo Highsmith, and that's Alex Gordon. That's the young man we were talking about earlier in the football game. Alex Gordon, a 6'5", 240-pound senior who has had every single NFL team interested in him.
Well, he's one of the 15 finalists for the Dick Butkus Linebacker of the Year award. I mean, he's got all the tools. 6'5", 240, runs a 4.6. You'd do well to run away from him.
They may try it this time. They need 11. They lost a yard of the last play. It's second down. Great defense by John Lewis. And I thought coming into the ball game that may be a big key, Steve, was the fact that Miami's wide receivers are so very physical, and UC has very small defensive backs.
You're right, they do. And one of the questions is their durability throughout this ball game. John Lewis is the big play man in the defensive backfield. 3 interceptions, fastest guy on the defense, and he read that one perfectly. That would have been big for Cincinnati.
3rd and 11. No blitz. Now Testaverde steps up in the pocket.
Great
off, and it will be a 4th down. Just shy of a 1st down. Let's see where they mark the football.
Again, Miami ran a flood pattern right. All the receivers were covered. Testaverde did a great job, got away from the rush, forced that the pass defender closest to the line of scrimmage to commit to him, dumped it off, but the pursuit was there and they stopped him.
There have been a lot of comparisons with he and the former Miami quarterback, Bernie Kosar. I think there might be one difference, and that's that Testaverde has a little bit more quicker feet.
I would say he has much quicker feet.
This one is almost blocked. Fair catch by Steve Looney, and he takes it at the 37-yard line. Time out on the field with 7:28 remaining in the 1st period. It's 14-3 Miami.
This bud's for all that you do.
They said this city was through. You said, no way.
Each day the spirit's growing. Your pride is really showing. You make America work, and this bud's for you.
Here's to you. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This bud's for you.
Time out for some big news from your Mazda dealers. The 1987 Mazda RX-7s are here. RX-7, winner of the IMSA GTU Championship 7 straight years. Sleek, powerful, with a unique dynamic tracking suspension system. Right now, your Mazda dealer selection of RX-7s is the best ever, and he's really dealing. So get going. See your Mazda dealer now.
Get a great Mazda deal today in Homestead and Miami.
You see those 3 points Cincinnati has in the football game. Those are the first points Miami has given up in the first quarter since the Maryland game of 1985. Dave Curry is the head coach of UC, and right now he's hoping that man, Danny McCoy, can get things going. McCoy runs out of bounds, but again, the nimble feet are able to gain a few.
Danny McCoy, driven out of bounds.
Jimmy Johnson, his record on the road, 12 wins, 1 defeat. That came to Michigan a couple of years ago, 22-14. Great coach, went to Oklahoma State, coached there, and really brought the Cowboys from troubled times in the early 70s to tremendous winning ways in bowl games in the late 70s, early 80s. Plays Howard Schnellenberger a couple of seasons ago. Went to the USFL. McCoy wants to throw again, and he's in trouble again. Dumps it off to Taylor, throws it over his head, and Taylor almost makes a great catch. And then is spun down by Jimmy Jones, the left defensive end.
He'd be better off not catching that one.
You're absolutely correct.
He'd have caught that one on his back for a 4-yard loss. Outstanding defensive play. I didn't see who got in there, but they were on McCoy immediately. Not pulled on the attempted bootleg at all. That was Dan Stubbs in there. See, he finally realized he didn't want to catch the ball. It almost lies between his legs for a completion.
And then he soccer-styled it out of bounds. So it's 3rd down and 10. Billy Davis, the backup quarterback, is in the game and in motion. McCoy scrambles away, fumbles the football.
That's a fumble.
Picked up by Miami. Will they give it to them? It should be a fumble. It has to be going forward. It is Miami's football. The Hurricanes have it. And that is the second big play that has gone Miami's way.
It's up to see. Dan Stubbs was being congratulated on the way off the field. I don't know if he's the one that came up with the football or not.
Well, you cannot give Miami that many opportunities, and Cincinnati certainly has.
Myra came in on the blitz. Maybe that was...
Winston Moss was the man that
caused the fumble.
So Testaverde back in action. Wants to throw right away.
Oh, what a
at the 5,
reception.
great catch, and inside the 10-yard line. Beautiful catch by Perriman.
Passes to Perriman.
There was defensive pass interference. Perriman just spun off the defender. Great concentration.
Defensive stop on the play.
Great catch. And
John Lewis. There's a flag on the play.
headed right for the end zone.
So Miami on the roll again.
Well, I'll tell you what, when there's a turnover, Miami just comes right after you.
A lot of coaches, I understand, want to do that because the defense sometimes is a little let down.
I don't think there's any question. Plus, they're cold. You know, they've been on the sidelines. Really, the defender was in pretty decent shape right there and just kind of got out of position. That's Terry Noble coming up for the ball. Perriman shielded him with his body, and he ended up out of position after maintaining reasonably decent coverage.
Boy, Terry Noble made some bold statements in the Cincinnati Enquirer this morning saying Vinny Testaverde has to prove himself to me. And I thought Vinny had proved himself to the entire nation a couple of weeks ago against Oklahoma and last year when he was 5th in the Heisman Trophy ballot. Around the left side, Warren Williams is bumped out of bounds near the 2-yard line.
If Terry Noble says something like that, I think we ought to check his grade point average.
I saw that and I went, oh my goodness. I think Vinny Testaverde is the finest quarterback I've seen in quite some time.
And it's not really just his physical tools, but it's just his presence and the way he seems to just control the game out there.
But he has those physical tools.
No question about that.
Alonzo Highsmith trying to bust in. He does. It's a Miami touchdown.
Alonzo Highsmith.
And the Hurricanes lead Cincinnati 20-3.
Score stands Miami 20, Cincinnati 3.
Well, there's nothing fancy about this. Line up, block straight ahead, and there you see that Miami wall of blockers, and Highsmith just puts his head down and runs it in. No penetration from that defensive line.
And the point after is good, and Miami increases the lead to 18. It's 21-3 with 6:30 to play in the first quarter. Well, the Hurricanes just keep it going. Travel arrangements made through Eastern, the airline with more flights to more fun vacations. This fall, visit a Caribbean island with Eastern, the leader in service to all the Americas. The Miami sideline, they have an 18-point lead. And, you know, we talked about them all year long. They have scored 50 points twice this year. Last week, of course, against West Virginia and earlier this season. But it is an offense that is just so explosive. But I still say the way they win their football games, the big games, is that great defense.
No, I think certainly their offense always has something to do with it, but you don't win the big games without great defense. We talked at the top of the show that Cincinnati, in a game like this, could not make any mistakes. They've given up a touchdown on a block punt. They gave the ball to Miami right there at about Cincinnati's 30, and it's hurt them twice, 21-3.
McKinney from the 6. Woo! 20 and then blasted down.
McKinney takes the kickoff.
Doug McFadden.
Runs it back until he's
This time only 36 yards and only taking 30 seconds, and we still have 6:25 to play in the first quarter. That is dangerous if you're a Cincinnati fan, and it's exciting if you're watching this ball game home in Florida where we're telecasting tonight.
Well, Cincinnati must have a big edge in time of possession, but that's about where it ends.
Reggie Taylor tries the middle for about a 2-3 yard game, and Dave Curry, very concerned coming into this football game. He said a program will not falter if we lose this game, nor will it prosper. What we need to do is be consistent.
Well, their special teams plays hurt them. They've had 3 punts, 3 interceptions returned for touchdowns. They've had a couple punts blocked, and hurt them again here tonight.
Taylor again, and he nears a first down. He needed 7. And he needs to get to near the 31-yard line.
Moss in on that tackle again. That was an excellent play. Pull the defense a little bit. Taylor would have picked up the first down and ran into the back of one of his offensive blockers.
And had he not run into that blocker, I believe he had an open lane for a first down. It's 3rd and 1. They'll split their backfield, go with the pro set, and Taylor will try it, and he'll get the first down.
I'll tell you what, every time you look up, it seems like Dan Stubbs is into the Cincinnati backfield. That time, just unable to catch up with Taylor. And they picked up the first down. Take a look at it. Taylor, right at the last second, moved over about a step towards the point of attack. I don't know why, but it worked.
36 yards for a young man who needs just about 60 to go over 700 yards rushing on the year. The fullback takes this one, goes up past the 35-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and about 7. Scott Tackett.
Done by Randy Shannon and Dan Salio.
Curry will stand on the sideline with his offensive coordinator and relay the signals out to Dan McCoy, and he was concerned about that at the season's beginning because he wanted Danny McCoy to be the inspirational leader, and he said Danny spends more time watching me on the sideline and getting the signals than he does talking to the troops in the huddle. For McCoy, going for it at the 50-yard line for Jason Stargell, but it's knocked out of bounds. And it'll be 3rd down and 7. Rushes on every time.
Well, that time, Don Ellis just played great defense. McCoy sprinted out right, got good protection, and he had zeroed in on his receiver all the way. Again, nobody open. Ellis with the coverage.
McCoy has gone over 1,700 yards passing on the season in this ball game with those 61 yards.
McCoy now 4 for 11 on the evening, faces a big 3rd down and 7.
Mukes in motion. Rushes on again, passes complete to Mukes, and he has the first down. Benny Blades was there. George Myra Jr. coming up to help out.
I'm not so sure we got a first down here, Steve.
Oh, boy, they marked the ball shy. You're right. They may need an additional foot. Mukes is a little exciting player.
Again, I was a little surprised right there. They complete, generally on the 3rd, a possession down like that, you want to throw the pass so that if it's completed, you pick up the first down. You don't want to leave anything to chance. They threw that one a little bit short, and hoping he could run for the first down.
Well, the crowd tells the story. They want them to go for it. Dave Curry is making that decision while Jimmy Johnson watches from the Miami sideline. And McCoy will go for it. He remains in the ball game. They need just about a yard. And that Miami defense that proved themselves on a 1st and goal situation earlier in this first quarter will muscle up again here. And you'll see Dan Sileo and Gary Mahon. Bill Hawkins. Is that Hawkins? Well, that's Sileo. He'll stay in the game. McCoy with the sneak. I believe he has it. Needed to just get across the 48-yard line to the 49. And yes, indeed, he has it.
Well, anytime you come up to the line of scrimmage in a short yardage situation like that, and there's no defender right on the center's nose, well, that's the best play to run. Quick snap before the defense gets into the cadence, and it works.
Taylor spinning inside for a couple past midfield.
Hawkins that time with the defensive penetration forced Taylor to change his route through the line. Delayed him just enough so that there was he got some help. Sileo made the tackle.
You know, Miami has plenty of depth on their defensive line, but anytime you lose 3 members of that defensive line, Derwin Jones I'm talking about, and Jerome Brown, who is the best down lineman they have, he is out as well.
Well, Jerome Brown, I mean, that's a big loss. He might be the best defensive lineman in the country.
He proved that last week against West Virginia. Taylor wrapped up back at the 49-yard line, so it'll make it a big 3rd down and 10. And once again, Sileo is there.
Well, Sileo is just too quick that time. I mean, they're running a you watch the replay, they're running a little draw play here, and you want Cilio to run by into the outside. He just got in there so quick that got there before the handoff even took place almost.
He's also so strong. He benches 530 pounds, strongest on the Miami football team. So from the 45, we'll try it again. Dumps it off. Fry is in trouble. He breaks one tackle, then fumbles the football. UC recovers as McCoyne falls on it, but a flag is down.
Reggie Taylor takes the backfield pass. There's a flag on the play.
Again, that's an interesting play. I didn't see it. It did look like a screen. We have a holding violation on the Bearcats. Really no offensive lineman. It was not a screen pass. Again, nobody open on the pass pattern. McCoyne had no choice. But really, it did look like, he looked like the intended receiver to me as quickly as the ball was thrown over there.
Fry had nowhere to go. It will be 4th down and 22. They refuse the penalty, say, "No, sir, we'll take the big loss, and we'll take the football right now."
For the Bearcats on 4th down,
Sean Burdick. Who averages right at 40 yards per kick, but better than that, his hang time is excellent, and there have been very few this year that have returned but many. But the first time he punted the football, well, it was blocked and returned for a touchdown. This time, Kintai will take it and race up the right sideline and be hit out of bounds by Robert Thomas.
And I got to tell you, he wasn't but one block away from taking that right down the sidelines.
They've had an excellent kickoff return and now an excellent punt return.
Well, they refer to Kintai as Mr. Substitute. Spent 4 solid years now backing up at the wide receiver spot. He'll return kickoffs and punts today due to some injuries out at the wide receiver spot.
Testaverde from the 39-yard line. Warren Williams, left side. Busted down by UC. Leading the way was linebacker Gerald Ware. Chris Aspect, the right defensive end, in on the play as well.
Second down.
Testaverde needs 7 for the first down. 1:43 to play in the first quarter. Pass is complete to Perriman, out of bounds at the 48-yard line.
Again, Cincinnati got the situation they wanted. Got the first.
So from the 49. Williams will try the right side. Stacked up by Alex Gord, but breaks the tackle, breaks free, and is near another first down. As the clock closes inside of 1:30 left in the first quarter. It's a 21-3 football game. Miami has the lead. And Williams running wild.
Well, as you watch this replay, what you have to recognize is the great blocking on the offensive line. Look how long it takes this play to develop, and look at all the blocks that are being sustained. It's got to be fun to run behind an offensive line capable of doing that.
Boy, that Greg Riccozzi is a great offensive center, maybe the best in the nation. Testaverde to throw. As the time now goes down, it looks like he stumbled on his own man, but credit the sack to Tom Zabotis.
Well, Testaverde did well not to throw that ball. Looking for somebody coming across the middle on an under route. I believe if he had thrown this pass, it would have been intercepted. Great time. 4 rushers actually ends up tripping over his own man.
Well, Lesnak pushed the offensive lineman back, and that's what kind of cut the feet from under Vinny. So Testaverde needs 9 now, with 18 seconds left in the first quarter. Deep drop. Complete for the first down at the 30-yard line. Perriman again. Wow, he had the time. The receivers get open. He's unstoppable.
Well, Brian Blades is out with an ankle. Perriman gets into the lineup. Got excellent hands. Starting his first game. Started the first game of the year. Blades just beat him out and got back into the lineup. I don't think the the Miami coaching staff feels like they're hurt that much with Perriman in the ball game and Blades out.
That's the end of the first quarter, and we'll be right back after these words from our local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
Introducing the new four-door Mitsubishi Mirage. Now it's even easier to get in on the fun. The new four-door Mitsubishi Mirage, patiently crafted for more door-to-door fun. Mitsubishi.
It's time.
I presume it's time to call Southeast, sir.
It's time.
We better call Southeast.
It's time to call Southeast.
Maybe it's time to put a Southeast banker to work for you.
It's time to call Southeast.
Vinny Testaverde is 7 of 8 in this football game, and he has now thrown 78 passes without an interception. The last one a big play for a first down to Brett Perriman. The opening moments of the second quarter. Incomplete. 7 of 9. Trying to hit his tight end Alfredo Roberts.
And Roberts that time was wide open. I think Vinny threw that pass as he was backing up a little bit, and as good as he is, you still have to do things with the basics. He's a little bit off balance right there and throws it inaccurately.
But you're right, Roberts is way open. He's the man who made that first big touchdown catch against Oklahoma a few weeks back. That sent Miami on their way to a 28-16 victory over Oklahoma. Williams breaks a tackle, but cannot get by that man. Chris Asbeck, 6'5", 255-pound sophomore from Columbus, Ohio. And it will be third down and about 11 yards.
Lashnick and Asbeck both in on the play. For a second there, it was hard to tell whether Williams had the ball or not. He almost scooted outside.
You'd think it'd be a close football game looking at those totals. 114 to 95, but no, the score is 21-3, and it might be more. Third and 11, Testaverde scrambles out of the pocket. Now he's going to run. And he may have the first down. He should have it at the 15-yard line.
Well, that time Zabatos, 59, the Cincinnati defender, tackled him forward for the first down.
He kind of helped him on his journey. Now,
great coverage.
He needed to get to the 18.
Great coverage in the defensive secondary. Great protection. They had a receiver deep down the left sideline, so there's no cornerback there. Now watch. He just throws him forward for the first down.
He had him about the 20-yard line and then rolled him over his body to the 16. An extra 2 yards past the first down. Miami back on offense. Testaverde looking to the end zone. Look at the time he has. Oh, touchdown. Michael Irvin, his 8th of the year. Well, you get that kind of time.
The reason I started laughing, Warren Williams was standing all alone in the left flat. I mean, there was nobody within 20 yards of him. Testaverde chose to throw it in amongst between 3 offensive receivers and 4 defenders, and he threads the needle.
Did he ever?
Sees the whole field, got a rolling pocket. Now watch this. Look at that. I think it could make either you or I look good as a receiver out there.
Well, he has the second touchdown pass of the night, and he has given Miami a 28-3 lead now on the University of Cincinnati. We have 13:53 to play, and this is the first half.
The Eastman Kodak Company judges major photo labs on their quality of color processing.
I think we have one. Nice contrast, but is the color true?
Yet only a few meet Kodak's high standards.
Bring out the determining factor.
These labs receive the Kodak Color Watch seal. One superior photo lab is Eckerd Drugs.
Right on the money.
Then it's Eckerd?
Eckerd.
For color processing that impresses even Kodak, look for the Color Watch seal at Eckerd Drugs.
Time out for some big news from your Mazda dealers. The 1987 Mazda RX-7s are here. RX-7, winner of the IMSA GTU Championship 7 straight years. Sleek, powerful, with a unique dynamic tracking suspension system. Right now, your Mazda dealer selection of RX-7s is the best ever, and he's really dealing. So get going. See your Mazda dealer now.
Get a great Mazda deal today in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and Pompano Beach.
28-3. The lead is 25 for the University of Miami, and Testaverde just doing a job on Cincinnati. He's 8 of 10 with 2 touchdown passes, but 2 of 3 in third down conversions. And that has been a difference in 2 of those touchdown drives. McKinney will take it in the end zone and go to an E. Those first quarter stats, UC has some good numbers as far as total yards go at 95. Miami has, well, a little bit more than 114 for the touchdown pass to Irvin. It looks even.
Well, except that it's taken Miami about 1/3 the time to get those yardage, that much yardage and all those points.
3:20 on that drive, a 30-second drive earlier, a 6-second drive on the block punt, and a 1:32 drive.
That's the longest they've had the ball. They got to work on that. They just don't control the. They just don't control the ball offensively.
McCoy on first down completes the pass. 25, 30, first down for Taylor. He stopped at the 35.
Boy, and Taylor that time made a great move to avoid the initial tackle, but I thought he should have cut down the right sideline. There were 2 other receivers down there that would have given him some blocking help, but he ran back into the defense. I mean, you know, it was a nice 15-yard pickup. But again, I thought he could have done a little bit better in the open field running area.
Well, they are hoping that Reggie Taylor would play tonight's football game at 100%. He is coming off of a hip pointer from a couple of weeks ago and just played a tough game against Penn State. Did not have the kind of Reggie Taylor numbers. Broken up by Miami.
Yeah, McCoy just underthrew that ball. Stargell had the defender beat. He had to wait for the ball to arrive. And Stargell did a good job that time of breaking up the interception. Was clearly behind the defender. Still can't pick up the number.
Bubba McDowell.
Yeah, it looks like McDowell back there.
He has 1 interception this year and ran that one back for a touchdown.
And they strictly went for it all on that play. There were only two receivers in the pattern, both running streaks.
Taylor tries the middle, ridden down, loss of 5, and that's Dan Stubbs. Boy, he got in that backfield like right now.
I'll tell you what, the way Stubbs is playing, it doesn't matter who's hurt on that defensive line.
No one was there to block him.
You know, it was a funny play. It was set up to look like a sweep right, and I think maybe that was McCoy's responsibility to block Stubbs.
McCoy's responsibility?
A little bit of a mismatch there, don't you think?
3rd and 15. Stubbs in again. Completes the pass. First down. Tight end Greg Lathan again. He has caught 2 in the game.
Winston Moss on the coverage that time and really did a pretty decent job. This is just a pass that's thrown in the only place that it can't be intercepted. Nice and low. Great pass, great catch.
Last year's score, Miami 38, UC nothing. It's 28-3 with 12:27 to go in this first half. And Scott Packett tries the middle and is ridden down near the 40-yard line. That front line of Pat Lavelle, Rick Childress, Irvin Owens, Mike Stokovic, and Dick Ryder beginning to play a little bit better. From the 41, it's 2nd and 6. Mukes and Stargell wide to the left side. Taylor on the sweep, first down to the 25, out of bounds. Inside the 25, near the 21.
Tell you what, now this is a great run by Taylor. Just a simple handoff left. He reads the block, gets outside, and that's a great cut right there. Between two defenders, looks like it could have been a clip right there. Little standoff there on the sideline.
He's only 5'7", but he's not going to back off.
Well, there's a flag on the play too. I think they called somebody for unnecessary roughness or a personal foul. So UC will take over at the 15 now.
Last year, Taylor ran for 56 yards in that 38-0 loss. He's beginning to run a little better here. This is Al McKinney. He's a sophomore, and he dives ahead just across the 10-yard line. It's a sophomore, and in his senior season at El Area Catholic up north in Toledo, scored 49 touchdowns in his senior year, 2,300 yards rushing. And they say he just does not have the confidence yet to really establish himself in the college ranks, but he is a good one, and they feel he'll be the starter when Taylor leaves next year. Taylor the senior, McKinney the sophomore. McCoy wants to go to McKinney again. Left side sweep, out of bounds, but has the first down. And for the second time, Steve, they've got a first and goal at the 3-yard line. Last time, UC could not punch it in.
Well, I'd be surprised if they even attempt to kick a field goal now. You get this close on Miami down 28-3. You got to think about touchdown, and that's all.
Well, McKinney running hard at the last 2 times. First and goal, they say he stepped out of bounds at the 4. That's where the market. It's first and goal. Arnez Perry comes out of the game. Jimmy Johnson watching from his Miami sideline. And Danny McCoy trying to get the UC Bearcats into the end zone by way of the touchdown for the first time of the game. Reggie Taylor knocks his way near the 3.
Well, UC now starting to open it up in the running game, running the ball to that weak side. What that allows them to do is it gives them a chance with their runners to get outside and get away from the defensive traffic. Gives Taylor a little bit of room to make a move. You can see that he has the ability to set a defender up. You know, he'll run sideways, and he's got the ability to plant and cut and run strong upfield.
Well, he's approaching his stats from a year ago when he gained 56 yards against Miami. Taylor left this time. He tries to cut inside, hurdles to the 1, but stopped shy there. So it'll be third and goal from the 1-yard line. George Myra came in there to make the tackle. And it's kind of interesting talking about George Myra. He's a guy you hear about because of his father, who was the quarterback, but he's a guy you don't say very much, and then he winds up leading the game in tackles.
Hey, the middle linebacker is generally the mainstay of the defense. And Myra does his job week in, week out. And that's what you look for from your middle linebacker, consistency.
Third and goal. Taylor stays in, tackles the fullback right in front of him. Taylor again. UC, touchdown. With an opportunity of closing the gap to 18 as Reggie Taylor has gone across from a yard out.
Well, I don't know if it looks that spectacular, but remember, he's only 5'7". He's got to get up in the air to get over the pile. So that's a pretty spectacular performance there. You know, nothing fancy, just straight ahead blocking. They run the back through.
Billy Davis to hold. The point after touchdown is no good, but there's a flag and a whistle well before the snap.
Well, they're lucky. It's going to be a delay of game penalty. They'll get a chance to kick this one through now.
UC needs every single point they can get. They'll back them up 5. And Shalaka will try again.
Bearcats are trying with a 5-yard penalty.
This time he nails it. And it is 28-10. Miami leading the University of Cincinnati. And we'll be right back after these words from our local stations. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
This young man is about to repair his own car. As you watch, he's actually fixing one of the biggest problems facing today's engines, clogged fuel injectors. He's fixing it with Mobile Super Unleaded Gasoline. Its advanced detergent formula can unclog fuel injectors and give your car a new injection of power. Drive your engine clean with Mobile Super Unleaded. High octane with a plus.
Now get the lowest finance rate in Toyota history, 2.5%. 2.5 on all new 1986 Toyotas. Yes. Now get the lowest finance rate in Toyota history, 2.5%. 2.5 on all new 1986 Toyotas. Yes, all. Get Toyota's 2.5 on all cars. Celicas, Camrys, Corollas, Cressidas, Tercels, Supras. Get Toyota's 2.5 on all trucks, every truck, and 2.5 on all vans. Plus get zero cash down on a commercial lease from World Omni Leasing. Now get Toyota quality at 2.5%.
The number one team in the nation leads by 18. Reggie Taylor just scored that UC touchdown. We've talked about his size, 5'7", but his coach, Dave Curry, says there's an aura about him, that he has a certain smile, a certain personality, that every single man on this football team has a great deal of confidence in him. And Taylor was the man who was inspirational, leading UC on that particular touchdown drive. It goes into the end zone. It will be a touchback, Miami football at the 20-yard line. So Cincinnati down by 18, and Testaverde coming back out there. He is just one touchdown shy of tying Bernie Kosar with 40 touchdowns in a career.
It'll be Miami's ball.
This has to be a very big possession for the Cincinnati defense. Obviously been hurt by the block punt for a touchdown, the turnover which gave Miami possession at Cincinnati's 30-yard line. You know, they're in this ball game. Good defensive stand, a quick touchdown, and 28-17.
Alonzo Highsmith finds an opening, powers past plenty, and fumbles the football. UC has it. Steve Brody, you were talking about turnovers.
Time it was great blocking, and right at the line of attack, a little hole opened up. Alonzo Highsmith broke free and clear. And I'll tell you what, you know, when he got tackled here, the defender was simply trying to get out of the way. Watch this. Breaks one tackle there with a straight arm, and right here, the defender's really just trying to get out of the way. That's John Sawyer. Highsmith almost runs over him, but the ball comes loose.
And Richard Rhodes recovers. He is the strong safety. Usually plays the free side, but because of injuries, they have moved him to that strong side. Razzle-dazzle by Cincinnati. McCoy going deep, and it's broken up. Beautiful play by Benny Blades, who came out of nowhere and now is hurt down at the 5-yard line. And Jimmy Johnson has to be saying, not another one. Blades going down again, and he did it in spectacular fashion, breaking up a pass that was sent deep for Jason Stargell.
Well, McCoy that time just waited way too long to throw that pass. He had an open receiver a solid 5 seconds before he let the ball go. By that time, the pass was in the air for so long, it gave every defender, everyone in the defensive secondary had time to recover. As soon as he gets this ball, he's got an open receiver. Little flea flicker action, and see him hesitate. I don't know why he hesitated. This ball is, again, so long in the air. It just gives every defender a chance to recover.
Intended for Darrell Huber, Greg Lathan, and Joe Heiss, and then Blades went down, but he's back up, and that is good news.
Well, actually,
Reggie Taylor tries the middle. Nothing there. Down he goes at the 38-yard line.
Steve, I was going to say Joe Heiss, 81, was the receiver that was wide open. That ball ended up being thrown to Latham. And again, that has to be a little bit of a mistake in the pattern. In a flea flicker, you never have two receivers in the same area of the pass. So
it's 3rd down and 6. Football at the 38. McCoy back to the air. As the time now it's closing up. Completes the first down. Joe Heiss.
Boy, it's, again, good protection. McCoy scrambles a little bit, creates an offensive situation, completes the pass, but I'll tell you, Bubba McDaniel put the big hit on Stargell, or on Heiss.
They say the word on Joe Heiss is that he can catch the ball in the crowd.
Well, he caught the ball in the crowd right here. There actually wasn't much of a crowd. There was just one big hitter coming after him. Maybe it looked a little bit worse than it actually was.
It's a first down. McCoy in trouble and will be sacked. And it is a terrible loss. Back past the 45-yard line near the 48.
I don't know where they're going to spot forward progress, but that's close to a 20-yard loss.
Greg Mark was the man who just came out of nowhere to make the big sack on Danny McCoy. It'll be second down and 29 yards to go now.
Well, McCoy's usually a little bit better than this. He'll normally just throw that ball away. As he was going down, he was looking to get rid of it, but Mark had such a tight grip on him, he couldn't even throw the ball.
Dump off to Taylor. Takes out one man and dives ahead to the 31. But still will be shy of the first down by a good 14 yards.
Good decision there, though. You can't try to get it all back in one play. I think you're basically in field position now where you're thinking about possibly just going for the first down. You've got 2 more downs to get 14 yards. Might be just a little bit out of field goal range. So you just want to nip away at them here. You've got 2 downs left.
You see, 6th nationally in passing offense, averaging 280 yards per game. Back to the air they go. McCoy throws it, completes it to Stargell. Dives ahead. Will be shy of that first down, though. He needed to get to the 18.
Well, you're looking at a 40-yard field goal now.
And Insalaka will be called on for just that.
31-yard line. Bill
His longest this year is 39. The kick is up. It is long enough, and it is good. And Cincinnati has closed to within 15 of the University of Miami. It's a 28-13 football game. And we'll return with 6:20 left in the first half after these words.
You got to move, right? Well, you could hire a moving company and pay an arm and a leg. Or you could borrow your brother-in-law's pickup. But then you make 5 trips and your brother-in-law comes along. Or you could rent a Ryder truck with automatic transmission, power steering, air conditioning, a radio. Ryder trucks are the newest, best-running trucks on the road. So it's up to you. What's it going to be? Ryder or your brother-in-law? I'd get Ryder.
Ryder, the right move.
Pretend my finger is your car's fuel injector. It sprays gas into your cylinder. And with your piston, it creates this explosion. But fuel injectors can clog, robbing your car's performance. That's why you need new Gulf Super, specially formulated to keep fuel injectors clean for better performance.
New Gulf Super, the gasoline for today's cars.
A 15-point ball game, 28-13, University of Miami. Insalaka was the man who just booted his longest field goal in his Cincinnati career, 41 yards. Dead on. Jimmy Johnson showing a little bit more concern than he had at the start of this ball game. A line drive low kick that is bobbled at the 7. J.C. Penney finally breaks out of there and is stopped at the 21-yard line.
Well, and this is the type of kickoff I think that's becoming more and more popular. I expect it really to catch on everywhere across the country. I think it's just it just creates so much uncertainty with the return team. You don't know if the deep man's going to get it. It can take a bad bounce. It's tough to pick up, destroys the timing. So I like the strategy of kicking it along the ground like that.
6:16 to play in the first half. Testaverde has 2 touchdown passes in the game. Wings the ball left. Michael Irvin on the catch. He's near the first down at the 30-yard line. He needs one more, so it'll be 2nd and 1. Irvin has a touchdown already in the ball game, and his 8th of the season. He is the touchdown completion leader in Miami history. There's some totals that Heisman Trophy candidates are talked about.
And, you know, it may seem insignificant, but Irvin caught that ball. He's got 2 defenders on him. Somehow he manages to get himself between the 2 tacklers. He fell forward for an extra 4 yards. We're looking at 2nd and 2 now. Big difference.
And Highsmith will get that first down. He's pushed back, but let's see if they mark it to the 32-yard line, because his forward progress was forward to that far and then knocked back. Alonzo Highsmith.
They have moved the chains. It'll be first down.
Must say that Mel Bratton is another young man who did not make the trip. He was banged up earlier this season, and really their best breakaway back is Mel Bratton, number 5.
But again, Warren Williams has started more ball games than anybody in that offensive backfield. It's not bad to have a second-teamer to come in with that type of experience. Certainly, Bratton does some things that nobody else can do. He's got all the moves, the breakaway speed. But and Williams, of course, is more of a north-south runner. He's not going to make the moves. He's going to run strong and run it right towards the goal line. Again, though, you don't lose that much when you bring in a Warren Williams. He's a great player.
They also have Darrell Oliver. They've got Cleveland Gary, J.C. Penney. Heavy of talent. Highsmith with the catch and with the nice run. And up by the 50-yard line in UC territory.
That is such a difficult pass pattern to defend. Highsmith does a great job of waiting till the last second to come out of the backfield. He hides in there behind the lineman, and you know, they give the linebackers plenty of time to drop. And as a result, they run this play often. I mean, Highsmith is second, has the second most catches on the team for the second most yardage.
So it's a 1st and 10 at the 49. Testaverde to Highsmith. Big hole. He's off the right side, inside the 35 to the 31.
Not bad for a guy who was recruited as a defensive end, huh?
Not bad at all, but I'll tell you, Rakosi, the center, is just brilliant. 290 pounds, and a lot of people are saying he is the premier center in the country, and just opened up a gaping hole on that right side.
Well, you know, I'd like to know the last time a college had the All-American center and the All-American quarterback on that team. That's a pretty decent way to start the play, from center to quarterback to All-American.
You don't have too many bad exchanges. Testaverde has not in this football game. And Highsmith wants it again and just breaks another tackle, spins forward by the 25, inside to the 23-yard line, and closing in on another first down. It'll be 2nd down and short. They'll need maybe 3 yards. Beginning to pile up some yardage. He came into the ball game with 190 yards and 1 touchdown. He's already scored 1 in the ball game, so give him 2 on the season for the 238-pound senior. Hurricanes need 3. This time it's Williams. He'll find those 3 yards the hard way as he kind of muscles his way to the 20.
From that end zone shot, you had a good chance to take a look at the lineup of the UC defensive line. They offset much like the Pittsburgh Steelers do. They'll put 2 people right on the nose guard. That time Warren Williams just kind of got lost behind the offensive lineman, stopped at the initial point of attack, bounced off and picked up the first down, or at least close. It'll be 3rd, about a half a yard.
2 minutes, 40 seconds to play in this first half, 28-13. Miami has the lead. Highsmith will get the first down. It's a 4th down, and what a great play by Chris Asbeck.
Asbeck and catching's in, and that's a great defensive play. Chose to go wide. Looked like the play was meant to go off tackle. Not much of a hold. They tried to bounce outside. The defense was up to the task.
So it's time to try for the field goal, and that will mean Mark Seelig to be called on. David Kintai will hold. Seelig this year, 5 of 8. Kick is up. And it is wide to the left side. Cincinnati excited. They have held. Seelig misses. And the score remains 28-13 with a minute 47 to play in this first half of action.
This is the home of the world-famous Clydesdales. A symbol of Budweiser's long tradition of quality, the finest ingredients, beechwood aging, and a special touch of care and pride. No other brewer has such a tradition of quality to live up to. But then, no other brewer makes the king of beers. After all, this Bud's for you.
Time out for some big news from your Mazda dealers. The 1987 Mazda RX-7s are here. RX-7, winner of the IMSA GTU Championship 7 straight years. Sleek, powerful, with a unique dynamic tracking suspension system. Right now, your Mazda dealer selection of RX-7s is the best ever, and he's really dealing. So get going. See your Mazda dealer now.
Get a great Mazda deal today in Homestead and Miami.
Tonight's Miami Hurricane football telecast is a copyrighted product of Raycom Sports. Any use of this telecast without the express written permission of Raycom Sports is prohibited. A minute 47 left in the first half, 28-13. Cincinnati has the football. And a concerned Dan Sileo watching from the sideline. Reggie Taylor tries for a couple, not much there, as he powers from maybe 2 yards to the 25.
For a second there, it looked like he might pick up an extra 10, 15 yards, but again, I guess that was Moss that corralled him around his shoulder pads and prevented what looked like could have been a big play.
McCoy looking long, down the middle, completes the pass, but a flag is down as Heist is cut down at the 40-yard line. The flag went down in the area where you many times will see offensive holding.
Almost always.
Yeah. It's almost like a punt with clipping. And there it is. Against UC, will be accepted by Miami and pushing the Bearcats back inside their 15-yard line.
Yeah, and this really hurts. I mean, that's a big play. Take you from your 40 back to about your own 10-yard line. That's a severe penalty. I don't know how many chances they'll take now with a minute 9 seconds left.
Just across the 10-yard line.
If they go up in the air now, I think they'll throw something very, very safe. Little swing pass, possibly a little screen. Could very well see a draw or a simple run.
2nd and 23. McCoy's going for it and is sacked. He'll lose 2 more, and they'll make it 3rd down and 25. And the clock now ticking inside of 1 minute. And I'm just wondering if they'll try and take it down to a little longer.
Well, Miami,
the football.
Well, Miami now, sees a possible situation where they might get the ball back with a chance to score. And we all know it doesn't take them very long. So they've stopped the clock now with 58 seconds to play.
And leading 28-13. 3rd sack by the Hurricanes. Cincinnati has the 1. Boy, it has been Danny Stubbs. It's been Derwin Jones. Well, Jones is gone, excuse me, or Dan Sileo, I meant to say. Bill Hawkins from the inside. And on the blitzes, Moss and Carter have been coming from the outside. So McCoy will have a 3rd and 25.
Well, what goes through your mind now is certainly you'd like to pick up the first down, but you've got a solid 20 yards to go. You want to keep the clock running now. You want to force Miami to use another timeout. So you may just very well see them run the ball here.
From the 8-yard line. Miami not showing a blitz yet. 4-man front. No blitz. Little dump off to Taylor. He gets it back to the 21, but still about 12 yards shy of a first down. And UC wants a penalty for roughing up their star Reggie Taylor, but will not get it. And on comes Sean Burdick to punt it away with 43 seconds left and a 4th down and 12.
Well, Miami's called another timeout. The clock has stopped now. 43 seconds.
Maybe we should watch Bubba McDowell, number 48. He'll be lined up on the left side early in this ball game. In the first 2 minutes of the ball game, he broke free, blocked a punt by Burdick, and then scooped it up on the second bounce and raced into the end zone for the touchdown. That made it a 14-0 ball game. He's one of their best special teams performers and also a tremendous defensive back as well. Kintai will be there for the return. And the chill beginning to affect the night here in Cincinnati. Vinny Testaverde was recruited by, well, what he considered 3 real schools that he was looking at. Syracuse, North Carolina, and Miami, and he said he went further south simply for that reason. He wanted the sunshine. Said he got off the plane, it was 85 degrees, saw the beach, and said, I think I want to stay here. Burdick standing at a 6-yard line. Gets it off.
Oh, what a punt.
Kintai, 34-yard line. Almost ran into his own man, but gets a fine return outside left as he breaks his way up past the 40-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Testaverde.
And that was a very important, good punt by the Cincinnati Bearcats. That, you get off a bad one right there, and you put them on in your territory and a chance for a quick strike.
.32 seconds remain. Plenty of time. Again. Completes the pass to Irvin out of bounds. They say he held on to it. He did a little juggling act as he approached the sideline, but yes, indeed, he was able to control it as he went out of bounds.
And Steve, what happens when you get that much time to throw the ball, your receivers get into extended pass routes. This time you see Testaverde. There you see the crossing pattern, and see he ends up completely on the other side of the field where the defender's not ready. And that's what good pass protection will do for you.
Clock is running down. 23 seconds. Testaverde completes the pass. Perriman cut down at the 17-yard line. But it's another first down. And the clock now is striked at the 15-second mark. 28-13. Miami has the lead. They'll move the chains and then start the clock right away. Testaverde has his troops down. Drops back to throw. Clock is running. Incomplete in the end zone. Intended for Irvin. And the clock stops at 11.
I'll tell you what, there aren't many pro teams that run a 2-minute drill this well.
You give him that kind of time, he's going to pick you apart. And he's had all kinds of time this entire first half.
Well, and it's a combination of everything. It's it's the coaching, it's the patterns that they run, it's the receivers who execute, and of course Testaverde makes it all happen.
Not bad. Touchdown. Oh, broken up. Irvin held onto it momentarily, and then it was stripped out by by Johnny Lewis.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you could see that again, I think that pass probably should have been caught. He laid it right in there. Hit him in the worst place, as they say, right in the hands. Gordon was on the coverage, but he had his back to the play, really. Nice, easy release. Look at that. Well, maybe Gordon had a hand in there. It was kind of difficult to tell.
Alex Gordon, so the field goal try is up, and it is good by Greg Cox. And the lead is 31-13. Miami over UC. Almost looked like another touchdown pass by Vinny Testaverde, but he was cut down by Alex Gordon in the fine defensive play in the back of the end zone. So Jimmy Johnson goes to the locker room with a nice little lead of 31-13.
Well, I think he has to be satisfied. As we talked at the top, you're always worried when you come into a game where you're a big, heavy favorite, whether your team's going to be ready to play or not. I think in the Cincinnati locker room, they talk about, hey, we gave up a touchdown on a block punt. We gave them the ball on our 30-yard line. Beyond that, we played this team pretty well. So, you know, hang in there, come out. We're going to get the ball to start the second half. Let's take it down, score a touchdown right on our first possession, and we're in the ball game.
And Miami leading 31-13 over Cincinnati. We'll be right back after these words from our local stations. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
Caber Systems, formerly Kendall Computers, introduces the Apple II GS, the most remarkable computer you'll ever see or hear. At Caber Systems, you'll find a full line of Apple computers, such as the Apple IIc and the Apple IIe, along with a full line of other fine computer products. Caber Systems is Florida's largest independent personal computer dealer. Caber Systems, now with 9 East Coast locations. Come try the new Apple II GS, now at Caber Systems.
The beauty of patience is its gentle persistence, but the power of patience is anything but passive. For proof, we introduced the new generation of Mitsubishi pickups. This new Mitsubishi is more than just a new truck. Patient crafting has combined a vigorous new shape with the available power of the largest inline 4-cylinder built, which proves that even patience likes to kick up a little dust. Mitsubishi.
Sports Final, tonight following News 4.
And while we have the time, let's take a visit to the University of Miami campus.
Miami, crossroads of the Americas. In this dynamic community is a center of higher education where students share in the excitement of an institution that is dedicated to pushing the leading edge in the pursuit of knowledge. Celebrating its 60th year, the University of Miami retains the pioneering spirit that led it to become one of the largest research institutions in the Southeast, in medicine, in marine science, in virtually every aspect of life. The University of Miami is changing the way we look at the world.
Miami football team is in first place in the nation, standing by way of the Associated Press and the UPI. They lead the Cincinnati Bearcats 31-13. We'll come back with the University of Cincinnati marching band after these words.
Eckerd System 2 photo processing gives you Kodak chemicals, Kodak paper, and TechNet color control, and 2 prints of every shot. Does yours store? Isn't it time you switch to System 2 only from Eckerd? Twice the prints, twice the film, twice the guarantee.
You stepped up to a 35mm camera because you wanted to get serious about your photography. Be sure the image you shoot is the image you get. Ultralab 35 from Eckerd, when you're serious about 35mm.
Pretend my finger is your car's fuel injector. It sprays gas into your cylinder. And with your piston, it creates this explosion. But fuel injectors can clog, robbing your car's performance. That's why you need new Gulf Super, specially formulated to keep fuel injectors clean for better performance.
New Gulf Super, the gasoline for today's cars.
Everybody knows how to do that kick. Health kick, yeah. Whoa! The goodness of milk is a real health kick. Health kick, yeah, milk. You pour a glass of milk real tall, getting coffee and the vitamins and loving it all. Looking good. Well, come on, everybody, milk's that kick. Health kick, do that kick. Come on, everybody, do that kick. America's favorite health kick.
This is a Barnett home equity agreement. It's like every other bank's home equity agreement, except for the title search fee, of course. Oh, and there's no appraisal fee either. Oh, and you don't have to pay an intangible tax, whatever that is. Almost forgot. There's no recording fee or origination fees or points. I guess the Barnett home equity agreement isn't like every other bank's home equity agreement, is it?
Miami by 18, 31-13 over the University of Cincinnati, as we promised. Let's now go down to the field here at Nippert Stadium and listen to the University of Cincinnati marching band. Miami with the lead over the University of Cincinnati. We'll be right back after these words from our local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
The beauty of patience is its gentle persistence, but the power of patience is anything but passive. For proof, we introduced the new generation of Mitsubishi trucks. This Mitsubishi has been patiently crafted to be an exceptional value, with a new shape, a new interior, and all the strength of more horsepower per liter than ever before, which proves that even patience likes to kick up a little dust. Mitsubishi.
This is a Barnett home equity agreement. It's like every other bank's home equity agreement, except for the title search fee, of course. Oh, and there's no appraisal fee either. Oh, and you don't have to pay an intangible tax, whatever that is. Almost forgot. There's no recording fee or origination fees or points. I guess the Barnett home equity agreement isn't like every other bank's home equity agreement, is it?
You know what drives me nuts about South Florida? It's not the traffic, it's not the humidity, it's the radio stations. Check it out. I'm supposed to make a choice here? Why isn't there a station that plays good classic hits? Stones, Steely Dan, Beatles. Like this.
Classic hits, Magic 102.7 FM, where all the good songs have gone.
You gotta move, right? Well, you could hire a moving company and pay an arm and a leg. Or you could borrow your brother-in-law's pickup. But then you make 5 trips and your brother-in-law comes along. Or you could rent a Ryder truck with automatic transmission, power steering, air conditioning, a radio. Ryder trucks are the newest, best-running trucks on the road. So it's up to you. What's it gonna be? Ryder or your brother-in-law? I'd get Ryder.
Ryder, the right move.
We're at halftime where the Miami Hurricane, the #1 team in the nation, leads the Cincinnati Bearcats 31-13, and they've really put on a fine show this evening. They've also been opportunistic. The block punt returned for a touchdown and also a fumble was later developed in a score.
Well, again, we're kind of saying some things that we set up at the top of the game. Anytime you're in an overmatched situation, you simply can't turn the ball over. Miami will just kill you.
Here's the first scoring drive. Testaverde hits Warren Williams for the touchdown.
Well, and this is a block punt right here. Only justice that McDowell picks it up and scores. Cincinnati hung in there, though. I mean, they fell behind quick early and hung in there real well. You see another touchdown, Highsmith going off right in. And really, I'd say towards the latter part of the second half, they went to the running game a little bit more, and Highsmith was outstanding. Testaverde right here is really going to thread the needle. We talked about the time that he gets to throw the ball. It allows receivers to go into extended pass routes. It confuses the defensive secondary, and then taking advantage a couple times in those exact situations.
The little guy, Reggie Taylor, over the top for Cincinnati's only touchdown.
Well, Taylor's been good, too. Late in the second half, when they had some experience in the rushing game, they started running Taylor wide, and he's very good in the open field, knows how to set up the defenders, accelerates well off the cut, and again, Cincinnati's come up with a good offensive showing today.
And that's why Miami leads by 18. We'll return with the statistics of the first half of play after these words.
So exceptionally smooth. The night belongs to Michelob.
I always thought the Mazda SE5 was too good a deal to pass up.
But now Mazda's throwing in a bed liner, mud guards, sliding rear window, floor mats, even an AM/FM stereo at no extra charge, on top of all the stuff the SE5 already comes with. A deal like this SE5 Plus 5 won't last forever, but I guarantee you, somebody's going to miss out and come crying to me after it's over.
Get a great Mazda deal today in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and Pompano Beach.
Everybody knows how to do that kick. Health kick, yeah. Whoa! The goodness of milk is a real health kick. Health kick, yeah, milk. You pour a glass of milk real tall, getting calcium and vitamins and loving it all. Looking good. Well, come on, everybody, milk's that kick. Health kick, do that kick. Come on, everybody, do that kick. America's favorite health kick.
Part of the crowd here at Nippert Stadium, it is a sellout crowd as they watch the #1 team in the nation lead the Cincinnati Bearcats 31-13. And now let's take a look at this evening's halftime statistics brought to you by Nart Banks. 31-13 our score, and you take a look at the total offense, 263 to 202. That's rather even. But what's hurt is the block punt and the fumble.
Well, again, Cincinnati's had a good offensive showing, as we just mentioned. 11 first downs, 61 yards rushing, 141 passing. They're a 50-50 offensive ball club, but, you know, they'll take what you give them, you know, for Miami. And, you know, you find yourself ignoring Miami a little bit because they do the same thing every week out. They win. They win, and they look like the #1 team in the country. So, you do tend to overlook a consistent offensive performance, and certainly Testaverde's just been absolutely outstanding again.
Time of possession, though, 18 minutes in favor of Cincinnati, 11 for Miami, but you see the score, 31-13. We'll come back with the second half kickoff after this.
This is a Barnett home equity agreement. It's like every other bank's home equity agreement, except for the title search fee, of course. Oh, and there's no appraisal fee either. Oh, and you don't have to pay an intangible tax, whatever that is. Almost forgot. There's no recording fee or origination fees or points. I guess the Barnett home equity agreement isn't like every other bank's home equity agreement, is it?
Pretend my finger is your car's fuel injector. It sprays gas into your cylinder. And with your piston, it creates this explosion. But fuel injectors can clog, robbing your car's performance. That's why you need new Gulf Super, specially formulated to keep fuel injectors clean for better performance.
New Gulf Super, the gasoline for today's cars.
You stepped up to a 35mm camera because you wanted to get serious about your photography. There, the image is on the film, but will it be on the print? It will if it's Eckerd's UltraLab 35 processing. UltraLab 35 examines each negative for color and contrast. Prints on high-gloss Kodak paper for incredible reproduction, and UltraLab prints are 30% larger. Be sure that the image you shoot is the image you get. UltraLab 35 from Eckerd, when you're serious about 35mm.
Tonight's University of Miami football game is being brought to you by your Dade Broward Mazda dealer and by Barnett Bank. Barnett is Florida's bank. (31-13). Cincinnati has the disadvantage to the Miami Hurricane, and the Hurricanes really look like they may be the team to beat going into the bowl games on January 1st. Really with a great opportunity, because the rest of the season they have Florida State, they have Pitt, they have Tulsa, and East Carolina. Now, none of those are really in the top 20. Florida State's always a tough foe, but Miami has a chance to go into the January bowl games as the #1 team in the country.
Well, you know, it's really a shame that you've got a great Miami team, and they, other than Oklahoma, they just don't really have a real strong opponent. Now, obviously, the schedules were put together in advance, and, I mean, usually West Virginia has a good team, and you're playing on the road, and that's tough. And then Florida usually has a good program, and Florida State, and you're going to Pittsburgh. You know, on paper, you know, it looks like an outstanding schedule. It's just that, you know, some of your traditionally tough opponents are having down years because, you know, as an athlete, you want to play against the best. And so I feel sorry for the Miami players from that standpoint that, you know, they go into each game heavy favorites. If you take away Oklahoma, their opponents up to now, I believe, are 8-21-1 on the season. So it's rather unfortunate.
Well, as Jimmy Johnson said, when you are an independent like we are, you don't have people within your conference publicizing your schedule, and that is the situation that Miami has in front of them. Some scores from around the nation. Florida State, well, Miami will play them very soon, 52-3 winners over Wichita State. So add one more victory to that 8-21 you were talking about.
Well, again, it's no criticism as you take a look at some other scores. It's no criticism. I'm just saying an athlete wants to be challenged. He wants to play the best teams in the country. I have to believe that the Miami players, they would like to play in Oklahoma every week, Nebraska, Michigan. I'm just saying it's rather unfortunate that they, on their schedule, aren't some of the other top-ranked teams in the country.
There's Dave Curry of the University of Cincinnati. Earlier this week, he told me it's not how many games you win, it's who you beat. And that's why this ball game was very important, and so was last week's with Penn State. He said after the Penn State game, I felt like I had my girlfriend at the altar, and she didn't say I do.
Pretty good. Had a victory. Pretty good analogy, and they really, really played well last week. You know, the problem with the Cincinnati football program is that it's been used as a stepping stone for a number of different coaches. Watson Brown, who was down at Vanderbilt, and a number of others, and they just haven't had that continuity. Of course, part of that has to do with, you know, with money. You have to pay a head coach if you want to keep him, and they aren't one of the the more well-endowed programs financially. Maybe they'll get there. But certainly they need a head coach to come in here and stay and build this program.
Well, they certainly have the enthusiasm tonight, led by that man, Danny McCoy. A packed crowd here at Nippert Stadium. Danny McCoy, one of the fine passers in UC history, and they've had some dandies, Troy Bodine, Greg Cook, and down the line. And on the other side, well, Vinny Testaverde. I thought there was a great article in USA Today the other day. They're talking about the World Series, Boston meeting the New York Mets, and one guy from Pittsburgh said, you know, I think the Mets are going to win, but I don't care who wins. I just want the Steelers to get Vinny Testaverde. That's number 14, and there are many who say he will be the #1 pick in the NFL next year, and they said unless that team already has drafted a young quarterback later, and then Vinny Testaverde will then be #2. He is that good. Well, Miami will kick off, and they will kick off by way of Mike Seelig, and he will be kicking deep to number 44, Al McKinney, and number 34, Ernie Johnson. 31-13. The advantage is 18 for the Hurricanes. McKinney. Uh-oh is right at the 16-yard line. Down goes Al. Great coverage by Miami, and that's where UC will start their offense here to open the third quarter.
Well, Cincinnati's going to line up very, very quickly. No huddle.
They got this from the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, again, though,
McCoy is really upset at the official for not placing the football down right away.
Well, in a change, in a situation like that, the official has to stop play and give the other team a chance to get their team on the field.
How about a fired-up George Myra Jr.? He really knocked away Reggie Taylor on the sideline after Taylor gained 7.
Well, some words are exchanged here at the end of the play. Maybe a little too rough right here. There you see it. Everybody gets involved once that happens. Of course, the flag goes down. And I'll tell you what, you have to be very, very careful. Anytime you're a heavy favorite, you want to jump on the underdog right away, take control, and not let him up. You know, any type of a play like this, a penalty, something that gets your opponent charged up and going, is not such a good idea.
I think George Myra was born a little bit too late. He looks like he should have been a cowboy out on the range. He really comes at you. Stargell in motion to the top of your screen, number 24. Taylor again tries for the first down and will get it and more.
Again, now Cincinnati beginning to develop a pattern where they will run Taylor to the wide side of the field. Excellent blocking along the right side of the offensive line. Childress, Reeder, and Huber. Runs with his head up. Saw the opening. He's a small guy. He doesn't need much of a break. Puts his head down, and again, he accelerates through the hole.
He's 30 yards past what he did against Miami last year when he gained just 56 yards. And in a season that he garnered 1,112 and gets a couple more here to approach that 90 mark.
The Cincinnati offensive line, everyone along that offensive front line started at least one a little bit last year, but really don't have a whole lot of experience. I think the coaching staff feels like their best football is still ahead of them. They have better football in them. And certainly they played very well in stretches here tonight.
2nd and 5. McCoy in trouble, and how? Boy, is he ridden down. Great defensive play by Greg Mark, the freshman. A 6'4", 221-pounder who stepped in there in place of Bill Hawkins, who has moved to the inside, and Mark picks up his 2nd sack of the game.
Well, let's see what happens here. Offensive tackle simply lost his feet.
Mark will leave the game now. It's 3rd down and 15.
Actually, that looked like number 74, the center, who was over there picking up the defensive end.
Pat Lavelle. McCoy in trouble again, and will be sacked again. A flag is down. Again, that usually means offensive holding, but Dan Cilio came into the ball game with a couple of sacks. Picks up his 3rd. Holding, offense, probably will be refused. And McCoy looking like he's limping back to the huddle. It would be a 4th down at about 22 yards to go. Decline. Miami wants the football. They're leading 31-13, and McCoy leaves the field shaking his head.
Well, Cincinnati came out, ran the ball very well. Went away from the run. 2 sacks, and they'll give it up. Once again, credit that defensive secondary. They're the ones, for the most part, that have caused the sacks through outstanding coverage.
Burdick must get it off quickly, and does. Hangs it high. Kintyre lets it go, and it takes a bad bounce. And will rest down at the 38-yard line. We'll pause with 12 minutes and 59 seconds remaining in the 3rd period. 31-13 Miami.
Most people rent a truck over the phone. A truck they haven't seen or driven. Now, that can be risky unless you ask the right questions. Like, how old is my truck? Does it have power steering, automatic transmission, air conditioning, a radio? You didn't get all those questions? That's okay. Just ask for the truck that's the same color as your yellow pages, Ryder. And that'll answer all your questions.
Ryder, the right move.
Everybody knows how to do that kick. Health kick, yeah. Whoa, the goodness of milk is a real health kick. Health kick, yeah, milk. You pour a glass of milk real tall, getting calcium and vitamins and loving it all. Looking good. Well, come on, everybody, milk that kick. Health kick, do that kick. Come on, everybody, do that kick. America's favorite health kick.
You see the score. Number 1 Miami continues to lead, and in a couple of weeks, Miami will be playing Florida State on November 1st. The number's outstanding. Alonzo Highsmith cannot get away from Gerald Ware, who rides him down near the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of a yard. It will be 2nd down and 9. Clock winding down inside of 13 minutes to play in this ball game in the 3rd quarter. Bob Lesnick helping out on the play. He has dropped back occasionally, number 42, the defensive tackle, into a stand-up linebacker. Blitz from the outside. Pass is complete. Highsmith leans forward, but can't get the 1st down. He'll be about 3 yards shy.
Gordon on a stop. You mentioned Lesnick. He will. And in some passing situations, he'll come back off the line and play that linebacking position. Take a look at Highsmith. This is one of their favorite pass patterns. They run everybody deep. He comes out of the backfield. We've seen it go for longer yardage than this. This time Gordon comes up with a good play.
Miami needs 2. Testaverde, time again. Did he complete it or was it trapped? They're saying it's a complete pass. Alfredo Roberts.
Well, those are the type of patterns that just drive a defense crazy. I mean, you know, with the long strike and quick strike ability, you have to play pass defense safe. And they'll just pick away at you, throw the short one. Obviously only need 2 yards.
Well, he made a nice
catch right there.
To get his arms under the football and make sure it was a first down, and he did. The blitz is on. Testaverde breaks free. And he's strong. The shuttle pass incomplete. Warren Williams, the intended receiver, and Testaverde has just thrown his 5th incompletion of the ball game. He's now 13 out of 18.
And again, I think for the most part, the UC defensive secondary has played very well. When they've been hurt in this ball game is when Testaverde has had way too much time to throw the ball or has been forced out of the pocket, and the receivers, again, have run extended routes. This time forced out of the pocket, coverage remained intact and forced the incompletion.
2nd and 10. Complete to Irvin. Knocked out of bounds by John Sawyer.
Oh, you have to wonder about this placement here. Irvin caught that ball on the 35-yard line, was dragged back, and we're going to take about 3 yards away.
He had the first down. They needed to get to the 36 for the first down, but he was dragged back to the 38-yard line. So it'll be a 3rd down, and we'll call it 3 yards, maybe a short 3. Testaverde calls a timeout and walks to the sideline where he will have some words with Jimmy Johnson, with his Hurricanes leading 31-13 over Cincinnati. 11 minutes and 18 seconds left in this 3rd quarter of play. And while we have the time, we'll be right back after these words from our local stations. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
Those who have waited and waited can now see the light. For Toyota introduces a car close to perfection. The all-new 1987 Toyota Camry. Camry gets more power to pass from a new 16-valve fuel-efficient engine, a quiet, more comfortable cabin for 5, and more of the Toyota quality that has made Camry the most trouble-free new car, domestic or import, sold in America. Who could ask for anything more? Toyota.
Our children must be able to compete in life, but they won't have a fair chance without a first-rate education. This is Bob Martinez. As your governor, I'll work to give our kids the tools they need to build the future they deserve. We need good teachers who are better paid, local school boards with real authority, and parents who care enough to participate. If we pull together, our children can't lose.
Martinez for governor. He can do the job.
31-13. You see the time left in the 3rd quarter. Still time for Cincinnati to get back in the football game. But the way Vinny Testaverde has driven on this particular occasion has made life difficult for Cincinnati. The pass is complete to Irvin for the first time. This time, see, he knew where he was. He didn't get dragged back.
No. That was a good play. And once again, they just run that short stuff at you, and it's just a matter of you have to play those people one-on-one underneath in short situations like that. Even though you're in a zone coverage, you have to play the man in your zone man-to-man. That's a difficult thing to do. I think this is, we talked about UC offensively really needed to come out and put a drive together. I think it's also very important defensive stand for the Cincinnati defense. Your confidence can get shaken very easily by this Miami offense.
Irvin's out of the game, but another dandy comes back in, and Testaverde throws the pass incomplete. Perriman tried to make the catch at the 15, but it was broken up. John Sawyer there with the coverage.
For Brett Perriman. Goes incomplete.
But you can't help but notice the talent. Testaverde eludes the tackler inside, gets away from the rush, running right, throws across his body off balance, and this thing is real close to being a completion. Look how closely this guy's guarded. I mean, that ball should have been caught.
He stands in there with so much confidence. Never really gets concerned about the blitzing linebackers like one that time. Warren Williams weaving his way inside the 30-yard line near the 28.
Get in the fly, let's go! Come on! Warren Williams carries, stopped by Ron.
You can hear the coaches in the sidelines screaming for some help. Jimmy Johnson and Dave Curry. Two relatively new coaches at their environments. Cincinnati for Curry. Miami for Johnson. Testaverde needs 5 on 3rd down. Incomplete. Just by the lunging tight end Alfredo Roberts. And it will be 4th down.
Well, Roberts got tripped on that pass, but I guess they're going to just rule that it was accidental. It was just accidental, but they got their feet tripped up as he was coming across the middle.
Not a bad night's work at all. He has now thrown 93 straight passes this year without an interception.
Into attempt a field goal, Greg Cox.
Starting way back in that Texas Tech game. Cox with the boot. It is wide to the right side. And the margin continues to be just 18, 31-13 with 10-10 to play in the 3rd quarter, and UC gets the football back. Danny McCoy charges back out there for his black and white. And Jimmy Johnson has had a couple of field goals by his kickers Seelig and Cox go wide. Immediately, McCoy steps up there, but there is a break in the action. Time out on the field with 10-10 to play in the 3rd, 31-13. Number 1 Miami.
I always thought the Mazda SE5 was too good a deal to pass up. But now Mazda's throwing in a bed liner, mud guards, sliding rear window, floor mats, even an AM/FM stereo at no extra charge. On top of all the stuff the SE5 already comes with. A deal like this SE5 Plus 5 won't last forever. But I guarantee you, somebody's going to miss out and come crying to me after it's over.
Get a great Mazda deal today in Homestead and Miami.
The Eastman Kodak Company judges major photo labs on their quality of color processing.
I think we have one.
Nice contrast, but is the color true?
Yet only a few meet Kodak's high standards.
Bring out the determining factor.
These labs receive the Kodak Color Watch seal. One superior photo lab is Eckerd Drugs.
Right on the money.
Then it's Eckerd?
Eckerd.
For color processing that impresses even Kodak, look for the Color Watch seal at Eckerd Drugs.
There's your score. UC has the football back after Greg Cox just missed the field goal. McCoy looping pass to Reggie Taylor. Oh, what a tackle.
Well, in that time, Reggie would have been well advised to just run up the field. That play is designed to pick up 5 or 6 yards and just start picking away at the defense. He tried to turn it into a breakaway, and that's simply not what it was designed to do. And he ended up losing 2 or 3 yards after he caught the ball.
I tell you, Greg Mark has certainly had himself a game, a couple of sacks in a ball game, 2 big plays behind the line of scrimmage. That was his second. That's not a bad night for Dan McCoy. But just the 13 points, and that's 18 shy of Miami as Al McKinney sweeps the right side, looking for the first down. He's still a couple of yards shy. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
And really, the Cincinnati running game has outperformed the passing game here early in the second half. You know, they had 3 or 4 good offensive rushes in that first possession. When they went to the passing attack, they got the big penalty, and that really kind of stalled out their first drive.
Dave Curry says Danny McCoy goes to his secondary receivers as well as anyone. Let's see if he does here. Nope. First down, and that is Latham, and he has the catch and the first down.
Well, Cincinnati's passing attack is much, much different than the Miami passing attack. Cincinnati's offensive pass routes will involve 3, 4, or 5 receivers. It forces McCoy to really be able to read the defense, and it means he must have great, great vision. This time they cleared out the middle and the deep outside and brought somebody across the middle. Excellent route and executed to perfection.
So This time from the 46.5-yard line. McKinney has a hole, an opening, nears the first down. Does he have it? No, I think he needs one more. But a 9-yard pickup by Al McKinney, 2nd and 1. You talked about vision, Steve, and that's one thing Dave Curry touched on. He said, of all the quarterbacks I have coached, and they include Guy Benjamin, Jim Plunkett, Steve Dills, Kirk Schonert, and Troy Bodine, he said, Danny McCoy is the best I have ever seen at seeing the entire field.
Well, and when you've got a quarterback like that, it allows you to do many more intricate things offensively.
McKinney, first down and more. Inside the 40-yard line near the 38. And the tackle is made by Darrell Fullington.
And this is rather significant. I mean, coming into the ball game, they knew that they needed a good performance at the quarterbacking spot out of McCoy. But they felt like they had to be able to run the ball. And I'll tell you what, they haven't had many running plays, but haven't picked up 5-6 yards here in the third quarter.
7:42.
The ball game, they knew that they needed a good performance at the quarterbacking spot out of McCoy. But they felt like they had to be able to run the ball. And I'll tell you what, they haven't had many running plays, but haven't picked up 5-6 yards here in the third quarter.
7:42 to go in this period. 31-13 Miami. From the 39. Play action pass, and they're bringing everybody. McCoy's looking all over the place for an open man. And it's intercepted by George Myra. Tackled at the 45-yard line, but a flag is down way across the field. And Myra picks the pass off.
Now, this is a line of scrimmage penalty. It'll either be an offside defense or the crowd seems to think it's going to be offside defense. It's either that or illegal procedure.
Boy, did he step in there nicely, though, to cover the play.
First mistake McCoy has made. Failed to see, I think it was Stargo across the middle wide open as he bided his time down about 20 yards. Forced the pass in there, and Meyer came up with the interception.
Miami brought 6 people that time, the 3 down linemen, and they also had a couple of linebackers and a stand-up end. There's the offsides against the defense. And a big break for Cincinnati. They could get themselves back in this football game with a quick score here.
This replay won't show us the penalty, but again, McCoy really buys himself a lot of time. First time we've really seen him force one in where he shouldn't have.
Taylor, what a run. 22-yard line.
The other significant thing about a drive like this, Steve, it does keep the clock running and it keeps the Miami offense off the field. Again, the strategy has been every single running play in this third quarter, Steve, has been to the wide side of the field.
You see Taylor's numbers. He is best of the year, 259 yards against Miami of Ohio in the second game of the season. You see, won that ball game. 45-38.
Well, this is a big mistake. We're gonna get a personal foul. Oh, I thought we were gonna get a personal foul against UC. I saw one of Cincinnati's offensive linemen, Irvin Owens, get into a little tussle downfield with one of the defensive backs. This might be one of those situations where the penalty's called on the guy who made the first hit instead of the guy who retaliates.
Well, the Bearcats get another break. It's always the last guy you see. You don't see the first punch. So they'll move it inside the 15-yard line, right at the 10-yard line. Oh, my. And Jimmy Johnson's got to be fuming about this one.
Four penalties on the night for Miami, but 2 here in the third quarter, both of the late hit variety. And, again, that's the type of penalty that will get an opponent fired up.
At the 10-yard line, Taylor, high in the middle, spins to the 7. Gain of 3. Second down. Clock winding down inside of 6:30 to play in the third quarter. Dave Curry flashing the signals in.
when you run to the wide side of the field like Cincinnati has done this entire third quarter, what you ask your offensive line to do is just make contact and maintain your block. You know, block your defender somewhere, and then let Taylor decide where to run the ball.
Well, he's done that on this drive. He has over 105 yards in the game. Tries the middle this time, spins away from one man, and it's to the 3-yard line when he should have been brought down near the 6.
Reggie Taylor carries.
Taylor's got a lot of heart. He's a hard runner, a smart runner, knows how to pick his hole.
Gets to about the 3-yard line.
First time he's really been forced to come inside. George Meyer out there with the leverage on the outside, forced to play into the middle.
They're at the 3. They're down by 18. McCoy to throw. It's incomplete to Scott Packett. Thrown behind him. The coverage was there anyway by Darrell Fullington, who seemed to have the play measured from the beginning. So it's 4th down, and UC will call a timeout. McCoy goes to the referee. He has received the information from his coach, Dave Curry. They want to talk this over, and it looks like Cincinnati may be going for it with 5:16 left in the third quarter.
Well, again, I just don't like the play call. You know, they just threw it right out into the flat. 3 defenders out there. The play was going to go nowhere.
And Cincinnati comes up empty, but they have one more chance. With 5:16 left in this third period, we'll pause. Be back with more after this.
This is a Barnett home equity agreement. It's like every other bank's home equity agreement, except for the title search fee, of course. Oh, and there's no appraisal fee either. Oh, and you don't have to pay an intangible tax, whatever that is. Almost forgot. There's no recording fee or origination fees or points. I guess the Barnett home equity agreement isn't like every other bank's home equity agreement, is it?
You got to move, right? Well, you could hire a moving company and pay an arm and a leg, or you could borrow your brother-in-law's pickup. But then you make 5 trips and your brother-in-law comes along. Or you could rent a Ryder truck with automatic transmission, power steering, air conditioning, a radio. Ryder trucks are the newest, best-running trucks on the road. So it's up to you. What's it going to be? Ryder or your brother-in-law? I'd get Ryder.
Ryder, the right move.
31-13, Miami has the lead. 4th down and goal at the 3. Dave Curry has to be thinking, we get the touchdown, we get back in this ball game. Danny McCoy has that chance here from the 3-yard line. On the quarterback draw, nothing there, and Miami is held. A terrific job by the Hurricanes, and Danny McCoy and the quarterback draw absolutely shut down by Miami.
By Darrell Fullington, short of the goal.
It was Benny Blades, it was George Myra, and it was a lineman.
Well, they came out, split wide on both, on both ends. The play happened so quickly. It looked like the offensive line from Cincinnati was just outmanned. Too many defenders in there. When you commit yourself to that kind of a lineup, if you get a blitz or anything, you can't even check off.
Highsmith out to the 5. Cincinnati needed that touchdown desperately as Miami gets it back and has the ball at the 5-yard line. And boy, it looked like Coach Dave Curry and quarterback Danny McCoy were having words in the sideline. McCoy really upset, and it appeared like Dave Curry thought he ran the wrong, or read the play the wrong way. Testaverde to the air. Completes the pass. First down. Mike Urban.
Give that Miami defense a lot of credit. I mean, they let Cincinnati run down the field on them, but, the old bend but don't break.
Well, our paid attendance here for tonight's football game, 29,526. That's one of the largest ever to view a game here at Nippert, and it is not a big stadium. It really only holds about 27,000. They had to put extra seating here, all along the end zones and sidelines. So watch number 1 Miami this evening. And the Hurricanes smashing it forward, eating up the clock now. 4 minutes and 24 seconds left in this third period, and Miami leading 31-13. Boy, they started out with a bang, scoring 21 first quarter points, and have put 10 on the board since that time.
I think as soon as you see Miami get the ball out of the hole here, you're going to see them open up and try to make some things happen offensively.
2nd and 7. Highsmith, 25-yard line, slips ahead to the 30. First down. Boy, the extra effort.
Of course, you know, he's so big and strong. You expect him to get away from some defensive backs now and then, but, you know, the initial tackle that he broke was from Alex Gordon right here. I'm sorry, Alex Gordon will come in next.
I was talking with the coaches today, and I said, who's your best run blocker? And he said, it may be Alonzo Highsmith. They said he is that vicious. Against Oklahoma, he just wore out their defensive ends, pounding them away and pounding them away. And Highsmith was the winner in that ball game at the end. The reverse to Perriman. Out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Testaverde engineering this drive magnificently from his own 3-yard line.
Well, that play was well set up. It was really just an outstanding play by Gordon that prevented that from really being broken. Gordon stayed home, played off the blocker, strung the play out, and forced it to the sideline. At this point right here, you've got 3 blockers out, and 2 blockers out in front now, and just Gordon. Like I say, he stays home, doesn't commit, strings out the play, and that's how you prevent a reverse from breaking for big yardage.
Noble knocks out Perriman. Not before another first down.
Gets about the 44-yard line where he's driven out.
Dave Curry has to be thinking, get that ball into the end zone on that last possession. We're back in the ball game. They would have made it 31-20, but they couldn't get it. They had 4 chances from the 10-yard line. Were only able to get to the 3. Oh. Those are some magnificent statistics. 7 incompletions, 19 on the complete side. And he's trying for number 20 and gets it. Oh, well, he had it right there, and Warren Williams couldn't hold on. Williams thinking about going upfield.
Tell you what, it was a little bit of a late whistle, and the Cincinnati Bearcat defenders, when they didn't hear the immediate whistle, thought for a second they might be making a big mistake. And no question that ball was never caught. But see, at this point, the whistle still hasn't blown.
So everybody's creating some more activity. It's a 2nd and 10. Clock at 3:09 left in the third quarter. Plenty of time. Sellers was there. Pass completed to Highsmith. Gordon tried to make the tackle. 50-yard line is finally where Highsmith is dragged down. 2 minutes and 53 seconds remaining in this third quarter of play. And Highsmith slow in getting up. Travel arrangements made through Eastern Airlines. When you're traveling to New York, Eastern has a convenient nonstop going your way. Eastern, the leader in service to all the Americas. One thing Cincinnati talked about coming into this ball game, where they were wondering, had they used up all their emotion in last week's very difficult loss, 23-17 to number 5 Penn State. Vinny Testaverde, incomplete pass. The second on this series that has been in the arms of his man, and the second time it has been dropped. First to is Williams, and now Irvin, and a flag is down near the 37-yard line. Sellers was charging hard from that left side. He may have been held.
Once again, this is an excellent route. Irvin had run the defensive linebacker down to the hash mark, came back about 4 or 5 yards to the pass. It was right on the money, hit him in the hands, couldn't hold on.
Another personal foul going against Miami.
Yeah, there must be some talking going on between the 2 teams down there, and the Miami players have lost their cool just a little bit.
So the offense comes back in the field.
This must have happened. I'll tell you what happened. I think there's some confusion as to whether this happened after the whistle had blown or not. If the penalty's a dead ball foul, the play stands and it's fourth down. The fourth down is on the scoreboard, but we may in fact have a third down situation. In that case, though, Cincinnati may have just refused the penalty and, forced a punt.
Referee Tommy Miller indicating the ball is still Miami's. It will still be a fourth down and 20.
It is fourth down, so that means it was a dead ball penalty. Miami only has 10 people on the field. No, I take it back. They're all right now.
The Eagles will punt it away. And gets it off barely. Steve Looney at the 24 with a fair catch, and he had room to run. And you can hear the groans from the UC crowd.
Well, I think the guys, I'll tell you what, he must be made the all-academic team. When AK Lewis tried to block the punt, he's got no help back there. He's running right up against 5 or 6 white shirts. See, they're coming out. I'll tell you what, they got a good rush. Big block right there. That punt would have been blocked. Look, this guy, he might be the smartest guy on the field tonight.
Well, he had about 13 yards between Looney and the nearest defender. Taylor will try the middle, squeezes for a couple, and he seems to make something out of nothing every time. 1 minute 57. Dave Curry said, you'll know who Reggie Taylor is. He's the little guy who's running around the huddle, patting everybody on the back, and there he goes again. The play has been called. Taylor barely catching that message. Their catch needs 7. McCoy, barely enough time, completes the pass. Joe Heiss across midfield to the 47-yard line. That's the first down.
And I wish we could give our viewers a real wide shot of that pass pattern as it develops, because you could see the receiver had the defender beat by 1 step, but he was closing in on the linebacker here. And look at that. That ball is threaded right in the middle. There you see Bain trying to strip the ball away. The receiver did a good job of holding on to it and picked up another 6-7 yards.
Comparable numbers for both McCoy and Testaverde, but Testaverde has a 2 under his TD numbers, and that's been the big difference. Dump off right side, out of bounds. Scott Hackett at the 40-yard line. 1 minute 3 remaining in the third period. Oh, he rolled up some impressive numbers in his senior year at Beechwood High School in Kentucky, leading Beechwood to the Kentucky State Championship. Had over 30 touchdowns his senior season. And over 2,000 yards rushing.
And if you're going to play in the offensive backfield for either one of these ball clubs, you have got to be able to catch the football.
Reggie Taylor can run with it as well and skips inside the 35-yard line. Another Cincinnati first down. A big play to Joe Heiss, and now the run by Reggie Taylor for first down.
But we have to take a little bit closer look at the point of attack here on the outside, because Cincinnati's been so successful running wide. And that's something that's very difficult to do against Miami, because they play their defensive ends wide, outside the offensive tackle and the tight end, forcing play back into the middle. But Cincinnati somehow is beating that.
From the 34, McKinney to the 31. The gain of 3, second down and 7.
And I'll tell you what, he just barely got that handoff off. Cilio again into the backfield very quickly. Tackled McCoy just after he handed off. See where this penetration comes from. I'll tell you what, it happened so quick he could hardly pick it up on the replay.
McCoy in trouble again. Completes the pass at the 19-yard line. Steve Sanders. He's come on lately. He had 3 catches in the big drive for a touchdown against Penn State last week and has his first tonight.
I'll tell you, after watching last week's game against Penn State and Cincinnati and this game tonight, I think a full 1 out of every 3 completions McCoy throws is after he's eluded a tackler in the backfield.
Seems to throw better backing up, running sideways than he does. Just drop back and set. He has time now. This time, throws the incompletion, although Mukes had it right on the numbers.
You know, every once in a while, the receiver will just start to run before he really has possession. No question, that's what happened there. And I'll tell you what, Mukes paid for it, too. He took a big, big hit here.
Oh, you are absolutely correct, Steve. He turned his head completely and was still trying to bring the ball into his chest. That is the final play of the third quarter. We'll begin fourth quarter action with Miami leading Cincinnati 31-13. We'll be right back after these words from our local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
This is a News 4 update.
I'm Steve Roddenero on the news. Authorities in Palm Beach and Martin counties have a real puzzle on their hands. Where did these boxes of rifles and mortars that came floating ashore today come from? The crates had Russian and Spanish writing on them, and we'll have further details at 11. The last of the Bay of Pigs invaders is a free man tonight. Ramon Conte arrived in Miami following his release from a Cuban political prison. We wrap up our series In the Money. Take a look at the Sunday weather prospects and Saturday sports final at 11 on News 4.
Now get the lowest finance rate in Toyota history, 2.5%. 2.5 on all new 1986 Toyotas. Yes, all. Get Toyota's 2.5 on all cars. Celicas, Camrys, Corollas, Cressidas, Tercels, Supras. Get Toyota's 2.5 on all trucks, every truck, and 2.5 on all vans. Plus, get 0 cash down on a commercial lease from World Omni Leasing. Now get Toyota quality at 2.5%.
Cincinnati continues their drive. They had a chance to punch it in earlier. That would have made it 31-20. When they could not capitalize on that 4th down and 3 situation. Turn it over into scoring points. Now they're driving again in what could have been, well, a touchdown that could have pulled them within 4. 2nd and 10. McCoy dumps it off. It's intercepted by Myra. And he has plenty of running room in front of him. George Myra, Jr., finally tackled by Reggie Taylor.
No penalty this time, so the interception will stand. That's Myra's 2nd one on the evening.
And run back to about the 35-yard line of the Bearcats.
And I'll tell you what, this stunned the crowd and kind of turned things around here.
He just continues to come at you and come at you. They say his weak point was his pass coverage. He's great against the run. But twice tonight he has picked off passes. The first one was called back by way of a penalty. This time Myra was just in the right place at the right time.
I'll tell you what, he showed a little bit of speed running that ball back, didn't he?
Well, Dad, George Myra taught him how to run. He was a fine scrambling quarterback. He went on to star at Miami, one of the best quarterbacks in Miami football history, and there have been plenty of them. And Son Jr. is doing a job here tonight. Warren Williams for 3. It's 2nd and 7.
Who would ever thought with these two offensive-minded football teams that we would play a full quarter and have no points scored? That's what we did in that 3rd period.
And here's Highsmith hurdling a man inside the 20-yard line, 25-yard line, rather. Joe Heiss is the man who's holding the towel to his chin after he made that big catch for a 1st down in a pass possession. He's nailed and has not been back in the lineup. Steve Sanders has come on to play for him instead. Testaverde working with inside of 14 minutes left in the ball game, leading by 18. Highsmith, nothing there, tries the middle anyway, breaks free, and has himself real close to a 1st down. That was just a tough running.
Well, missed tackles are generally a sign that a defense is getting a little bit tired, and we've seen Highsmith now, as the game's worn on, he's broken through a couple of hand tackles, shaking a lot of people off, and you know, how he gained anything on this play, I don't know, and it comes up with 7 to the plus side.
2nd and 3. Well, we'll call 2nd and 1, rather.
9 yards.
And he's got the first down here and more. Highsmith still carrying tacklers into the end zone for the Miami touchdown. His 2nd of the ball game, his 3rd of the year by way of the rush. And Highsmith holding on to his left leg. And that is trouble. Hopefully just a cramp, as he has made it 37-13.
And I'll tell you what, this team's had so many injuries this year. 4 or 5 people went out in the West Virginia game last week alone,
including Jerome Brown.
Good blocking along the left side, but so much of this is just individual effort.
They're just wearing down the Cincinnati defense.
Well, he must have just... Somebody must have just fell on his leg.
Let's hope Alonso is all right, because he is so instrumental to their future. Hoping it is just a cramp on a rather cool evening in Cincinnati. He's getting help off the field, but he's putting some weight on that left leg.
The player being helped from the field is Alonzo Highsmith, the ball carrier on that last play.
Now they'll try for the point after touchdown, as Highsmith's 15-yard dash has made the margin 37-13. Greg Cox will try for the point after touchdown. It is perfect. And the lead is 25. 38-13. Miami with the lead over the University of Cincinnati. And we'll return with more college football after these words.
I always thought the Mazda SE5 was too good a deal to pass up. But now Mazda's throwing in a bed liner, mud guards, sliding rear window, floor mats, even an AM/FM stereo at no extra charge. On top of all the stuff the SE5 already comes with. A deal like this SE5 Plus 5 won't last forever. But I guarantee you, somebody's going to miss out and come crying to me after it's over.
Get a great Mazda deal today in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and Pompano Beach.
Everybody knows how to do that kick. Health kick, yeah. Whoa! The goodness of milk is a real health kick. Health kick, yeah, milk. You pour a glass of milk real tall, getting calcium and vitamins and loving it all. Looking good. Well, come on, everybody, milk that kick. Health kick, do that kick. Come on, everybody, do that kick. America's favorite health kick.
Same amount of points that Miami scored against Cincinnati last year in a 38-0 victory over UC. This year, Cincinnati has scored 13, and Miami has the lead. Their last touchdown supplied by a great pass interception by George Myra and a fine run back. Al McKinney, who slides to the 21, but is down there. Only had to go 35 yards. That's because of Mr. Myra. And the last 15 yards supplied by that man who's being checked by team doctors when he injured his left leg on his 15-yard touchdown run. Alonzo Highsmith, his 2nd score of the night. Back in the field, it's 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line for Danny McCoy. His numbers are good as he goes deep here, airing it out. And Stargell cannot hold on. He threw that football some 50 yards in the air. Stargell running under it. And it looked like he had a chance to haul it in. But it's incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Ball's right on the money. Going for it all on the first play. Can't throw it any more accurately. Let's see if a defender gets his hand in there.
That's Darrell Fullington. And how about Fullington? A little shove there on the end. McCoy going for the first down, incomplete. I'm telling you what, George Myra, I heard that he wasn't a good pass defender. He's just been marvelous tonight. Or I should say that if he had any weaknesses, it was on his pass defense. He plays the run so well that I guess if you're talking about any shortcomings, it may be on his pass defense. Yeah.
It's all relative.
He, too, is up for the Dick Butkus Trophy at the end of the year. Taylor They won't get the first down. It'll be fourth down.
And I'll tell you what, that's an unfortunately short offensive possession for the Bearcats.
Surprised by that with them needing 10 yards and 12 minutes to play in the ball game and down 38-13. Surprised they went with the run, needing 10. Sean Burdick.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to burn a team deep when you're down 25 points in the fourth quarter, but that's what they chose to do on first down, but that's what it forces you into.
Kintai on the return after an excellent kick by Sean Burdick. Brought down at the 21-yard line. 11 minutes, 44 seconds remain. 38-13. Miami with the lead. And we will be right back after these words from our local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
This is a Barnett home equity agreement. It's like every other bank's home equity agreement, except for the title search fee, of course. Oh, and there's no appraisal fee either. Oh, and you don't have to pay an intangible tax, whatever that is. Almost forgot. There's no recording fee or origination fees or points. I guess the Barnett home equity agreement isn't like every other bank's home equity agreement, is it?
Cadillac Seville for 1987, an unmistakable statement of success. Its elegant design surrounds some of the most remarkable engineering in Cadillac history. Engineering designed to enhance your comfort, your control, and your confidence with impeccable manners on the road. And a new, longer warranty, all the while reminding you that Seville represents the ultimate in American luxury sedans.
See Seville for 87 at your Dade County Cadillac dealers.
The number one team in the nation, University of Miami, proving again why they are at the very top. They have the 38 points. They've been averaging 39 this year. And Testaverde goes right back to the air to Michael Irvin, who has caught his 7th ball tonight.
Well, and in the backfield now, you've got Darrell Oliver in there for the injured Highsmith. Don't know if Highsmith's injury is of any real significance, but again, Oliver has sort of become the forgotten man in that backfield. Outstanding back who's unfortunately in a situation where he's caught behind some people with outstanding ability.
Miami needing one. Testaverde going for the home run, and Andre Brown is there, and he falls down inside the 25-yard line at the 22. Wide open was Andre Brown, but a flag is down back of field. And Vinny Testaverde is standing right next to that flag. He knew immediately that his Hurricanes would be called back.
Well, it's another personal foul, so there is some real bad blood developing down on the field. But I'll tell you what, was that, I mean, every time he throws the ball, it looks like it's going to be complete. I mean, when he lets it go, you just know that the ball is going to be right on the mark. He's got such an easy motion. Look at that tight spiral.
He is pretty to watch.
I'll tell you what, there's a little bit behind him, though. I don't know. He had to catch it on his hip. He had to catch it on his hip.
Jimmy Johnson, his coach, said he is the finest athlete I have ever been associated with. And that's saying something. Vinny was saying before the football game that everything that he's done in his sporting life has come rather easy to him. When he was a fullback, when he was a tight end, he was the man who caught all the passes. Then all of a sudden, they decided to put him at quarterback and superstart him there. His dad, after the Oklahoma game, said, "The Heisman is ours. It was meant for Vinny." Here is Darrell Oliver, who has run out of bounds about the 13-yard line. Inside of 11 minutes left in this ball game, 38-13. You know, we talk so much about Miami's injuries. They will have 2 weeks to recover. They do not play another game until November 1st against Florida State, and that is going to be a tough one. That is always a tough one for Miami simply because of the rivalry. They had a rivalry earlier this year in beating Florida in Kerwin Bell 25-13.
Well, you know, it's a credit to the coaching staff and certainly to the talent of the backups that, you know, I mean, they have got major injuries on this ball club. A lot of starters, a lot of great players. They just come in with one right after the other.
Broken up intended for Michael Irvin.
On offense alone, Steve, they've lost 3 offensive tackles: John O'Neill, Ed Davis, and Matt Patchen. Charles Henry's gone at the tight end spot. He won't be back next week. Blaze, of course, out with an ankle from the West Virginia game. He should be back. Bratton out with an ankle. He will be back next week. Defensively, their starting 2 tackles are gone: Kerwin Jones, Jerome Brown. You've got 3 other people out from the defensive secondary. So take all those things into account and see what kind of success they're having, and it's rather remarkable.
Eagles spun out of bounds at the 49-yard line. I mentioned that Florida score earlier. That was 23-15 that Miami was able to escape with a victory. And really an outstanding defensive effort of the season. Their best defensive effort, I have to believe, was against Oklahoma in a thrilling victory, nationally televised. Number 1 against number 2. At that time, Miami was number 2. They upset number 1 Oklahoma, and here they are, number 1, leading Cincinnati tonight, 38-13. Back with more after this.
Pretend my finger is your car's fuel injector. It sprays gas into your cylinder. And with your piston, it creates this explosion. But fuel injectors can clog, robbing your car's performance. That's why you need new Gulf Super, specially formulated to keep fuel injectors clean for better performance.
New Gulf Super, the gasoline for today's cars.
This is a Barnett home equity agreement. It's like every other bank's home equity agreement, except for the title search fee, of course. Oh, and there's no appraisal fee either. Oh, and you don't have to pay an intangible tax, whatever that is. Almost forgot. There's no recording fee or origination fees or points. I guess the Barnett home equity agreement isn't like every other bank's home equity agreement, is it?
Testaverde with 2 touchdown passes. Alonzo Highsmith with 2 touchdown runs. And Miami with a 25-point advantage here in the 4th quarter against the University of Cincinnati. First play that Cincinnati goes with is a run. They come up just with a short gain by Reggie Taylor. It'll be 2nd down and about 8 yards to go. Inside of 10 minutes left in this ball game. Miami well on the way to their 7th straight victory. First time ever. Well, they had 7 in a row in 1926, but for record purposes, the freshman 1926 club did not qualify for record consideration. They were just a club. Here's the completion. This is Latham. Latham breaks the tackle and up by and very near a first down. Another flag goes flying. And again, it was as the play was ending, Stephen, you have to wonder if it's another personal foul.
Well, it looks like a possible late hit. Again, we'll have to wait for the ruling, but if you're Miami and this type of a thing begins to happen, then we're going to get a clip. You have to be very careful. In a game like this, you have to be very careful of injuries. You have to keep injuries happen when you are not alert and you don't play hard. You relax a little bit, somebody hits you a little bit late, and that's how those type of things happen.
Watch at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, that's got to be it.
I don't believe it was on Sanders. I believe it was on the center, Pat Lavelle, coming from behind. And he is the guilty party. Young man from Cleveland. 2nd down. Bearcats need 17. Dump off. McKinney. Not much there, and he does not get much. Back to the 45-yard line, just a gain of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 14.
Well, there's a lot of football left to be played, and believe me, you've seen in the past that Miami, it doesn't matter what the score is. They run a passing offense, and they will continue to put the ball in the air. And, of course, Cincinnati's trying to get back in it, regardless of how late it is. They're going to keep, they're going to keep the pressure on.
They run out of the pro set here. Pressure's on. And it comes from the big guy, Dan Stubbs, and he just takes Danny McCoy and throws him down. Another sack for Stubbs. He came into the game with 9. He has 2 tonight, 11 for the season, and he has just played a remarkable football game. He has also had a couple more behind-the-line tackles on running backs. He just overpowered the outside man.
Well, this time McCoy, one of the few times McCoy didn't feel the pressure. I think when they watch the game films, the Miami staff's going to be very pleased with the defensive backfield performance in this ballgame.
Burdick to the 12. Kintai going backwards. Still going backwards. And finally bumped out. An excellent return for Kintai. I thought he had nowhere to go. Finally found the angle down the sideline and has an excellent return. At the 37-yard line. Could have been brought down at the 8. But turns it into a fine game. And with the score, 38-13, Miami leading UC. We'll be right back after these words from our local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
Caber Systems, formerly Kendall Computers, introduces the Apple II GS, the most remarkable computer you will ever see or hear. At Caber Systems, you'll find a full line of Apple computers, such as the Apple IIc and the Apple IIe, along with a full line of other fine computer products. Caber Systems is Florida's largest independent personal computer dealer. Caber Systems, now with 9 East Coast locations. Come try the new Apple II GS, now at Caber Systems.
Winners go with winners. I'm Doc Lebo, president of Oakland Toyota, and we're with Miami all the way. Yes, Oakland Toyota has its greatest inventory of Toyotas, and you know what winners' Toyotas are. But you can be a winner, too, with Oakland Toyota's discount that counts. So come on in now as we add extra Go Hurricane discounts to save you even more. Oakland Toyota, 1700 West Oakland Park Boulevard, this 1 block west of I-95 in Fort Lauderdale, where it's the discount that counts. Go, Canes, go! Oh, what a feeling.
7.5 minutes remaining in this football game. Miami by 25. And they've been paced by the man engineering them still. That's Vinny Testaverde. And there's a breakaway back in J.C. Penney all the way up the field by the 45-yard line to the 41. First down, Miami.
J.C.'s got some quick feet, doesn't he?
Hey, let's go back and take a look at J.C. Penney again.
You know, look at that. He hesitates a little bit there. Looks for the defense. Got quick feet, can change directions. But the big thing is that, as he's changing directions, he's exploding and accelerating.
He's a local guy from Youngstown, Ohio. Play action pass this time. Testaverde going for the home run. Andre Brown is there, but the pass is broken up at the 7-yard line by Terry Noble. The young guy who said before the ball game, Vinny Testaverde has to prove himself to me. I think Vinny has. That time, Noble won out.
Well, Noble's a tough guy and in the defensive backfield, so you would expect him to talk a little bit like that. He recovers very well here because he's beaten on the play. Great diving save of what would be a touchdown pass.
It's 2nd down and 10. From the 41. Gordon on the blitz. Leaves his man Oliver free. He makes the catch. Is inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. Just a gain of 3. It will be 2nd down, or 3rd down rather, and 7.
John Lewis on the tackle is, I would say in the second half anyway, is probably the best open field tackle we've seen any of the Cincinnati Bearcat players make.
6 minutes, 45 seconds left in the ball game. Testaverde backing up again. Needs 7. Looks to scramble. He's in trouble. Breaks free. Now he had the first down and now backs up and loses it. Testaverde had the first down at the 31 and then angled his way left and forgot where he was, and it will be a 4th down.
Well, he was looking to get out of bounds. He didn't want to take the hit, and I'll tell you what, after Jimmy Johnson sees this play on the sideline, he may decide that it's about time in this ball game to take Testaverde out of there. He's had enough bad luck with injuries. This game's been, there have been enough personal fouls in this ball game to warrant maybe getting him out of the lineup.
Then he comes to the sideline. His backup, Jeff Toretta, is a good one.
Testaverde's limping just a little bit.
Seen a number of injuries for Miami in this ball game. There's the field goal try up. Did not get it. Scored again. They've been shy 3 times by field goals. 1 by Cox, 2 by Seelig. And it's UC's football. Cincinnati's football with 6 minutes and 14 seconds left in the ball game. 38-13. Miami still has that lead. And what once was a jam-packed stadium now beginning to lead. Miami by 25.
So exceptionally smooth. The night belongs to Michelob.
Miami will be number 1 when the polls come out again this week. But, boy, when you have the number 1 quarterback in the nation, every time he is tackled, sometimes you grimace. And this is the reason why. Vinny Testaverde, the leading Heisman Trophy candidate, is limping on the sideline. And here comes the big guy Stubbs again for his 3rd sack of the game, his 12th of the year, and as he had a great game. Dan Stubbs.
I'll tell you what, he's just really taken advantage. Got a couple of people out hurt. Time to steal the spotlight. Stubbs has been the guy.
Jeff Graham is their backup right tackle. He's in the game now, and he has just been overpowered by Dan Stubbs. Really has not been a chance. You see the difference in the game by a half dozen. Stubbs is on the left side. This time the running play to Reggie Taylor, and it is read beautifully. Bubba McDowell, he too has had a good game. He's the guy who blocked the punt and returned it for a touchdown and made the score 14-0 Miami. 5 minutes, 21 seconds left in the ball game. This is Steve Physiak along with Steve Brody, former great basketball player, University of Michigan. You always, I'm sure, grimace when people say former. Those are fun days watching you up there.
I admit to being over the hill now.
Reggie Taylor's put on a performance tonight, though. Honorable mention All-American last year. McCoy backing up. Incomplete. It will be 4th down intended for Steve Sanders. He still needed an extra 5 yards for the 1st down, and McCoy is a little unhappy as he runs off to the sideline. I believe Jeff Toretta will be the new Miami quarterback.
The offense will not change, though. They will run the same explosive plays.
Burt has had a good night. And has this one blocked. Again, his 2nd one that he has had blocked in the ball game. Out of bounds at the 35-yard line. The first time he had one blocked, Bubba McDowell took it in for the touchdown. This time, it is knocked away again. And it has not been Burdick's fault. He has had both blocks. The difficulty with the center. He's got him the football either high or low. This one was a low snap.
Tolbert Bain coming in. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was Bain for a second. That's
McDowell.
That's McDowell.
Boy, he had a great night. See, he's got to scoop that up.
Yeah, he does a great job of...
I'm not sure McDowell got it or if he just shanked it.
I'll tell you what, from that angle, it looks like it went off the side of his foot, doesn't it? Whoa.
Nice defense by Alex Gordon. Steve Staffier.
Steve Staffier, the ball carrier for the Hurricanes.
Alex Gordon, he has plenty of friends here. Went to the same high school as Willie Smith, who was a Miami tight end last year. And he was ready for this football game, inspired because he's playing against so many old friends. And there he's saying hello neighborhood right there. 36-yard line. This is Toretta. Completes the pass to Staffier, who breaks free again. Inside the 30-yard line near the 25. It'll be 4th down and 1.
Steve, I know there's been a lot of talk starting now who Miami's bowl opponent will be. And, boy, you know, when you start looking down the line, you've got Michigan, who if they won today is still undefeated. If they win the Big Ten, of course, they'll go to the Rose Bowl. Got Alabama still undefeated. You know, they would be headed to the Sugar Bowl if they win the Southeast Conference. And, you know, you're looking at, again, a possible Nebraska or a rematch with Oklahoma. And you know, I don't know that Miami people would really be so interested in a rematch situation. That's a difficult thing to beat a good football team twice in 1 year.
I know a lot of Miami fans are saying, wait a second, we got it in our own backyard at the Orange Bowl. We'd like to see that again in person.
You know, some talk that ABC may throw a little bit more money into the Citrus Bowl if Penn State should still be undefeated. Because, of course, Miami can go wherever they want. So, fortunately, the Miami fans have the luxury of looking that far down the road because this team should end the season undefeated.
Staffier around the left side. Again, the remaining games, and they have 4 of those, are against Florida State, Pittsburgh, both very good teams, but not great powers. And then Tulsa and East Carolina, and you would think those would be victories. We'd like to say on behalf of our Raycom Sports Telecast team, we'd like to thank and take this opportunity to thank the representatives of these 2 institutions for the assistance in tonight's telecast. Toretta back to throw first all and completes the pass to the 6-yard line. That was Alfredo Roberts. Now, from the University of Cincinnati, our thanks to Athletic Director Carl Meyer, Head Coach Dave Curry and his staff, and Sports Information Director Tom Hathaway. From Miami, Athletic Director Sam Jankovic, Head Coach Jimmy Johnson and his staff, and Sports Information Director Carl Smith Jr. 6-yard line, 2 minutes and 18 seconds to play in the ball game. And trying to limp off the field is Alfredo Roberts. Tight end right. J.C. Penney tries the middle into the end zone for the touchdown. So Miami breaks the 40-point barrier.
I don't know what it is about these Miami running backs, but they all have that same ability. Once they get hit, they spin, they twist, they keep those legs driving. And I'll tell you what, as a group, they probably pick up more yardage after the first hit than any other group of backs in the country.
And they have simply worn out Cincinnati in the second half.
And this J.C. Penney, I mean, this guy's quick enough that he'll never take I don't think he'll ever take a big hit. He just, look at that, just bounces off, finds the end zone.
5'8", 185. It's 44-13. Make it 45-13. Miami continues their lead. The 3rd time this year they have been over the 40-point barrier. 61 against Texas Tech, 58 against West Virginia, and tonight 45 against Cincinnati. Back with more after this.
I always thought the Mazda SE5 was too good a deal to pass up. But now Mazda's throwing in a bed liner, mud guards, sliding rear window, floor mats, even an AM/FM stereo at no extra charge, on top of all the stuff the SE5 already comes with. A deal like this SE5 Plus 5 won't last forever, but I guarantee you, somebody's going to miss out and come crying to me after it's over.
Get a great Mazda deal today in Homestead and Miami.
This is a Barnett home equity agreement. It's like every other bank's home equity agreement, except for the title search fee, of course. Oh, and there's no appraisal fee either. Oh, and you don't have to pay an intangible tax, whatever that is. almost forgot. There's no recording fee or origination fees or points. I guess the Barnett home equity agreement isn't like every other bank's home equity agreement, is it?
They have done it with their first team. They have done it with their second team. We'd like to say thanks to the people who made this broadcast possible tonight. President of Raycom Sports, Rick Ray. Executive Vice President, Dee Ray. Executive Producer, Don McGuire. Producer, Lou Rainoni. And Director, Roy Alford. And our rest of our fine crew were able to bring us the broadcast tonight. 45-13. Miami has the lead and will hold on to their #1 ranking yet another week. Al McKinney, nearing the 30-yard line, is dragged down, and a flag is down as well at 1:54 to play in this ball game. Just some more of the people who made tonight's game possible. That's Hathaway and Jim Crow. Great job with the truck by Myron Freifogel. And our terrific camera crew who brought you the outstanding shots. A copyright telecast of Raycom Sports Incorporated. Offside's the call. So they will ask Miami to kick it off again, and Al McKinney will drop back deep again. Ernie Johnson is along with him. Danny McCoy will have another chance. Twice, Cincinnati, with the score 31-13, had a chance to close the margin to 31-20. But twice were denied. Once with a 4th and goal at the 3-yard line. The other when they had driven inside Miami territory when George Myra Jr. picked off a pass and raced it back to the 35, and Vinny Testaverde took it in, handing off to Alonzo Highsmith, who scored his second touchdown of the night. Al McKinney does not make it as far this time, just to the 22-yard line.
Steve, I really think that you see University of Cincinnati, after they go through the films, they're going to feel like they played a very good ball game. Again, got off to just a horrible start. Opening kickoff is returned to the 50-yard line. Miami takes it in about a minute and a half later. Then they get the turnover, the block punt. And before you know it, they've got Miami has 21 points on the board. From there, they played a very good ball game. I think if they hadn't been down by such a wide margin, they'd have put a couple more field goals on the board. And again, it's a young program. Seems to have come under some stability here with a coaching staff that seems committed to staying. And again, 2 weeks in a row against top-notch teams, they played pretty well.
McCoy completes the pass to Scott Hackett, and he is dragged down up across the 30-yard line near a first down. He needed 6. Well, it's like Curry was saying before the ball game. He believes the foundation has been set here at Cincinnati. One win is not going to make their careers. They need to be consistent week in, week out.
You know, defensively, you have to remember 2 years ago, this was the worst Division 1A football team in the country. Last year, they gave up 23 fewer touchdowns than the year before. So, you know, as we mentioned, everything's relative. So they've come a long way. They've come a long way.
I remember those totals defensively. Out of 105 NCAA Division I teams, they were 105. Ball is at the 39-yard line, but they have rebounded this year. The record will be 3-4 after this loss. McKinney straight up the middle, running hard. Clock winding down inside of 40 seconds, and there is a flag down.
And what more do you say about Miami? The train continues to roll.
No flag, no whistle, 26 seconds and counting. Miami again, when the polls come out Monday night, Tuesday morning, they will be on top of the college football rankings. This should be our last play of the game as Danny McCoy drops back to throw. He has 10 seconds and counting. Standing, and still looking for an open target. It's incomplete, so we'll have one more try with 5 seconds left. He was trying to go deep, but Miami had double coverage on 2 University of Cincinnati wide receivers. Jimmy Johnson, well, his record on the road in his career will go to 14-1. And Dave Curry, his record this year, 3 wins and 4 defeats after this one to Miami, 45-13.
Steve, I guess the only good thing you can say about this score is it's going to be easy for us to get out of the parking lot because the crowd's gone.
Yes, they are. Here's McCoy sacked again. That is 8 sacks in the ball game by Miami tonight, and they do it just the way they play the game. Jimmy Jones with the sack. Jimmy Johnson across the field. He'll shake the hand of Dave Curry. Game well played, but this baby's over. Miami another win, number 7 on the year, 45-13. Tonight's University of Miami football game is brought to you by Barnett Bank. Barnett is Florida's bank. And by Michelob, exceptionally smooth, distinctive. Taste is why the night belongs to Michelob. Jimmy Johnson walking off the football field with his 7th victory of this 1986 season, a 45-13 winner over the Cincinnati Bearcats. And now for Steve Grody and the rest of our Raycom Sports crew, goodbye from Cincinnati. Once again, our final score, Miami 45, the University of Cincinnati 13. This has been a Raycom Sports presentation.
Tonight's University of Miami versus Cincinnati game has been brought to you in part by your local Toyota dealers. Caber Systems, formerly Kendall Computers, Florida's largest independent computer dealer. And by Mitsubishi Motors. Experience the sensation of the full line of new cars and trucks from Mitsubishi.
In the news tonight, a mysterious cache of weapons washes ashore in Jupiter. America closes the final chapter on the Bay of Pigs invasion. A cancer clinic gets a show of support from some real sports. The Hurricanes hang tough at number 1. News 4 and Sports Final are next.
Now get the lowest finance rate in Toyota history, 2.5%. 2.5 on all new 1986 Toyotas. Yes, all. Get Toyota's 2.5 on all cars. Celicas, Camrys, Corollas, Cressidas, Tercels, Supras. Get Toyota's 2.5 on all trucks, every truck, and 2.5 on all vans. Plus get 0 cash down on a commercial lease from World Omni Leasing. Now get Toyota quality at 2.5%.
It's one thing to say you fight friction. It's another thing to prove it. Kendall Motor Oil did. First, ordinary piston rings were plated with pure gold. Then, a prestigious independent laboratory ran them under stop-and-go driving conditions for 5,000 miles. The results? Look, Kendall protected the soft gold. Now, doesn't that tell you something?
Available at all Norton tire stores.
Be very clear that communication is the life channel of the information age.
John Nesbitt talks with Southern Bell about business communications.
And your digital services have speeded up the whole communications process. Now your customers can move data at extremely high speeds and very accurately.
Right. That gives them an advantage.
Yes, and as we continue to move further into the information age, businesses will need that advantage more and more. And Southern Bell's ability to move information.
Introducing the new 4-door Mitsubishi Mirage. Now it's even easier to get in on the fun. The new 4-door Mitsubishi Mirage. Patiently crafted for more door-to-door fun. Mitsubishi.
WTVJ, Channel 4, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. This is News 4 with Pam Salisbury, Steve Rondinero, Bill Van Dusen's weather, and Ned Smith with sports.
Good evening. Pam Salisbury's on special assignment in Palm Beach tonight. I'm Steve Rondinero. We've had some mighty strange things wash ashore in Florida. Drugs of all descriptions, a derelict freighter or two. But tonight it's a puzzling and dangerous find. Cartons of weapons. They've washed ashore along a 50-mile stretch of Palm Beach and Martin counties News 4's Alan Mendelson has the latest.
The scene looks mysterious and dangerous, and it is. Perhaps dozens or even 100 smashed crates filled with military explosives washed up on the beaches near Jupiter.
Well, apparently during the course of the day we've been able to recover approximately 20-25 fusing devices which have washed ashore in this area.
There was writing on some of the crates in Spanish and other languages, not English. How about Russian?
I don't know. I'm not a...
Covered, and he throws deep over the middle and could have been intercepted. But the Miami defenders were watching the South Carolina receivers. Right now, let's go back to Sports Center and Larry Burnett.
All right, gentlemen, just some time now to update you on scores that are in progress in games tonight. First of all, number 13, Florida, in action. They beat Georgia Southern today, 38-14. Kerwin Bell, a big day. It is Florida State, our number 11 team on the ESPN poll, shutting out Toledo at halftime. Kansas State in the first quarter, leading Western Illinois. It is Northern Illinois over Ball State, and the first, and Tulsa is leading Louisiana Tech at the half. Back to Columbia.